Hello. Hi. Hi. So Midnight, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, okay. Welcome everyone. Welcome to Riftwalk second episode and yes, it's 4 p.m. so we need to start right now. And also, again, this is the first ever League of Legends podcast on the Philippines. And again, I'm Dash and with me here is Midnight. Midnight, before we start, I'd just like to say, kumusta? How was your past 2 weeks or at least how was your day?
Uh, the past 2 weeks, my team has been busy preparing for this coming Elder Dragon series for this month. Um, but today I was just excited because I finally felt better so that I could speak for
Yeah.
today's podcast, which is obviously Poggers.
Yeah. I wish you're doing better nga, no? So, kamusta naman yung yeah, let's just talk about that later siguro.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
and again, yun nga everyone, this podcast right now, the topic of our podcast is being a Twitch content creator and we have invited a guest for you guys today. It will be Entrapped. So, I hope we can get Entrapped up here in the stage, but we can talk to Entrap for today.
Right. And before he gets in, just quick reminder for everyone, just a quick disclaimer that the views and opinions expressed on this podcast are our own opinions,
Yep.
and it's just
Yeah.
we we can get to have a little bit more fun here. So, Entrap, welcome to the stage.
Hi, Entrap.
Hello. Hello, guys.
Yeah, I think Entrap has been a long-staying member of the LOLPH Discord no? Kasi nakikita ko sometimes si Entrap is always on the active sa gaming advice channel. Pero before everything else, can you introduce yourself, Entrap, to all of the people here sa audience natin?
Okay. Good afternoon, guys. My name's Steven. You can call me Entrapped. That's my tag nga, diba?
Mm-hmm.
I am primarily a content creator on Twitch now, but I started out on Facebook. You'll see me streaming. Is it okay? You'll see me streaming like a
Yeah,
variety of
yeah.
games,
Yeah.
but like you'll see me playing Valorant, Apex, or like random games. But most of the time, I'm gonna be playing. I play League of Legends because that's what really got me into gaming, and that's it's my home. And kaya nga, you can leave League, you can say you quit. But, pag may bagong patch, pag
Yeah.
nakatikim ng isang ARAM game, like middle of the night, your friend asks, "Hey, bro, we
Yeah.
need one for ARAM." Tapos mag-ARAM kayo. Tapos wala na, yun
Yeah.
na. That's how it goes, diba? Tapos bigla, next thing you know, you're spending money, you're spending like 5-6 hours a day grinding League again. So yeah,
Yep.
that's who I am, Uh, you guys can catch me on Twitch a lot. And,
Yeah.
as Dash said, I'm pretty active on the gameplay advice channel.
Yeah, I think I see a lot of Entrap dun nga sa gaming advice channel. And also, yeah, being a content creator din on Twitch, no, minsan talaga you need to play a lot of different games kung ano yung feel mo for the day. Pero League of Legends, yeah, we love League of Legends, right? So, yeah. And also, something that I would like to ask you, and also I would like to ask rin ano si Midnight about dito. Pero how has your stay been on the LOL PH Discord? Sabihin natin, how did it all start? Na pumasok ka sa LOL PH Discord, then you'll be active in the gaming advice channel. Tell us about that story on how you became, yun, active sa LOL PH Discord.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't actually remember how I ended up joining the
Mm-hmm.
LOL PH channel. It was probably I joined very early on. I actually joined, and then I was active on the gameplay advice channel, I believe, and
Mm-hmm.
then I quit League. I actually tried to quit League for a bit, so I left the channel,
Yeah.
and then like I said a while ago, one of my friends invited me
Yeah.
to play an ARAM game. I said yes, and then the rest is history. I started playing again, joined the channels, and started joining Elder Dragon and everything, and now I'm here. And I mean, I'll be honest. The League PH Discord has grown so much from when I first saw it. I feel like it's a lot more active. There. I feel like it's more diverse and it's more rewarding to be in the League
Mm-hmm.
PH Discord. There's more
Yep.
events. There's stuff like this podcast, and the Elder Dragon series has really grown as an event, and it's something that makes me happy. As a local player, because when I first joined, there wasn't much activity, right?
Yeah.
Like after I
Yeah.
think the initial like rampage portion of the League PH scene, right? There wasn't as much activity, there wasn't as much community anymore. And I feel like the Discord really gives players a place to gather, make new friends, engage in discussion basically. So yeah, that
Yeah.
was my journey here, anyways. But gameplay advice. That's my one true home. That's like of
Yeah.
anything. That's where you'll see me chat. I rarely chat in league chat or like the lore discussion, esports discussions. I don't chat there. It's basically just in gameplay advice.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
mentioned that you could see that the Discord has grown, or the community in this Discord has grown so much. Have you actually made any friends or any new connections within the Discord, or what?
Rather, that's a great question. Rather than making, I'd say, connections and stuff, it's more of I bump into people I've worked with or I know as players, and it's fun doing that, right? Figuring out, oh, we're both on the Discord, or we've been here, we've been talking pala, or I'll
Right.
randomly bump into people like sa high elo tag, like I'll bump into them in game. I'm like, oh yeah, I recognize this gamer tag, and I feel like maybe it's I think it's because of me, right? Because I don't make
Yeah.
as much of an effort to reach out to the players here on the Discord. There was a time where like me and my squad, my boys would be running around as four people, so we'd always need one other person. And I'd hop on the match invite, but we had a few like weird encounters. So I don't do it as much anymore. But like we do really need players for like customs or stuff like that. I try to look for people here that I might recognize, stuff like that. So to answer
Okay.
your question, Midnight, I don't think I've met anyone in particular.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the people I recognize a lot of people when I'm playing now. Like from the League PH Discord.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, another question, if I may.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm curious because, like, as Dash initially introduced, like, we know that you're very active in the gameplay advice channel, but what made it particular about that channel that you're active there? Because, like, for other a bit more on the more average side of things, like, most people go into the league chat or the off-topic channels as like their main sort of like go-to channel to chat and connect with people. But why choose specifically the gameplay advice?
Okay, I like that question. To answer that properly, I'll have to like give a little backstory of how I grew as a player, right? Um, Back in when I started in season two, right? Season two, season one ish era.
Mhm.
Um, I was a kid, man. Like that's almost 10 years ago. I was like
Yep.
12, 13, 14, something like that. And I was not good at League. Okay, I was not good. And the one person who taught me how to play was my cousin, and he really taught me how to play. He'd play with me. I knew. Can I? Okay, I'll avoid profanity, but I was bad at the game. Okay, I was really bad at the game, and having someone sit through your bad stage where you're bad at the game means a lot as a new player. It helps build community. And so like as I grew as a player, I was looking for avenues to help people. So, um that's partially why I became a content creator who does league, because I wanted to help give people like resources to teach them. And that's why I started my Facebook channel, Facebook page initially. Like if you look at my old VODs, my old videos, all of them are titled like educational gameplay, because I would always explain what I'm doing. I would try to teach people like, oh, you can do this, you can do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it became
So
instilled in you na
yeah,
kumbaga because of that, because of the reason why kasi your cousin helped you and all, then parang you want to give back to people who
yeah,
needs
yeah.
help. Ganun. Yeah, that's
I
nice.
yeah,
That's nice.
I actually started out on, if you guys know Reddit, if you follow Reddit, the League Reddit, there's
Yeah.
a subreddit called Summer School, and that's where I
Right.
started. I would try to my best to answer questions there. I would get into discussions. I would try to explain to people certain like topics and stuff like that they might not understand. And then I found out this Discord exists, so I started trying to do what I did on Sumner School. I mean, on the gameplay advice, basically. So just like I tried to carry it over,
Mhm.
and I still continue try doing that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice. Pero yeah, that's nice. So I kind of like the story kanina na yung at some point you quitted League of Legends. Then parang we always tend to go back, right? Kasi for players like us who have been here for season 1, 2 ish, parang there's some time that you want to quit. Na parang yeah, let's stop playing League of Legends muna. Then there's at some point your friends would be like, oh, let's play League of Legends. Then, yeah, pupunta ka na lang bigla doon sa rabbit hole. Like, what just happened? I thought I'm done with this game. I thought I'm done. Pero you still go back. And which, that is the reason why I think it's really nice to see na we have the LOL PH Discord to help us with this. Now, if we need friends to play, we need some things to do, we have the LOL PH Discord. Pero back to you. Yeah, so sinabi mo rin kanina this season you started was season 1, 2-ish, right? Yung the time na League of Legends started talaga
Yeah.
dito sa PH. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I have a question. What rank did you start nung
Oh,
first rank
my
mo
first
back
round.
day? Yeah, back in the day.
I
Yeah.
I started in bronze 4. Believe
Oh
it or
Really?
not.
god.
I started in bronze 4. But okay, I started bronze 4. My ranked story, I started bronze 4, and then I was chill with that, and then I got really irritated that I was in bronze. So I like in 3 days I got all the way up to silver 1.
Oh,
And then
Wow.
from bronze
wow.
4 to silver 1, I was a Vayne main, I believe. Yeah, I used to play
Hmm.
Vayne. If you guys are, do you guys know Hi I'm Gosu?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sure most
Okay.
people like listening and you guys under like recognize Hi I'm Gosu, right?
Yep.
Back when he didn't show his face, right? And
Mm-hmm.
he posted something. Let me. I love this clip. It's called Gosu Challenger Montage. And the opening song, yeah, it's Goes to Challenger Montage, number one, I believe. Yeah, it's number one. And it opens with a song called Plain Asia. And every time I would enter a league game, I would blast that song so loudly because I was trying to channel my inner Gosu. And I guess it worked because I climbed pretty quickly, I think.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
started silver. I started bronze, ended up in silver. Took me quite a while to break out of like platinum elo actually.
Yeah, actually, during those times, no, parang nung times the seasons na yun, it was like super hard to get up from the ranks. Like during my time rin na yun na I was there, I started silver 1. I think every season, like 1 year, every 1 year lang ako umaangat ng isang rank. I get to gold like after 1 year. Ganun. Kasi it was so hard back in the day. Kasi you don't really have the tools to know what to do. Kasi there's not there's not a lot of things na parang you don't really watch a lot of LCS back in the day. I think
Yeah.
I picked it up in season 2, season 3 pa. Then I picked it up yung watching. So yeah, everyone, that helps. If you want to get better at the game, you
Yeah,
need to
watching
watch
pro
pro
gameplay.
games.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
definitely.
that is the reason why it was super hard back in the day. So it's really a struggle. Pero ito, I also have another question. Do you remember the first champion that you played when you hopped on the game?
Ooh.
Oh wow. The
This is a
first
question to Midnight
champion.
too, but this is exciting.
Yi. I probably Yi. I think I played Yi first. I'm pretty sure I
I
played Yi.
I think I played Kennen first. I'm not
No,
entirely sure.
dude. No,
I
no, no,
think
no.
Wait,
I played Ash. I played Ash. I'm 100% certain. I played
like
Ash
okay,
now.
okay.
outside of the tutorial or
Uh,
Yeah, outside the tutorial. Yeah, yeah, outside the tutorial. Yeah,
I
I mm,
my
I
memory
think
Ash
I
is
is the
not
remember
that
best skin
good.
too,
mine.
by the way. I bought
But
Amethyst Ash, man. That was the first skin I ever bought.
Wow. It took
Because
me a while to get
Okay,
like
Ash
skins.
was okay. Ash is pretty, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Like, so I bought the Ash skin because I
yeah,
wanted her to look nice.
yep. And it was great back in the day, right? The Ash back in the day had like her frost arrows
Oh yeah, it
was
was toggle, and it
toggle,
took
right? Yeah,
mana. It
yeah.
was so much mana to use it.
Yeah, that was really fun. And also, I think my first one was Malphite. I don't know what's with Malphite, but him being bulky during the time was like, oh, this guy is strong. It's like, oh, this guy has a good ultimate, unstoppable force. Wow, that sounds strong. So that I think that's the reason why I used Malphite during my first gameplay. And man, it's like this is fun. We're just talking about what we did back in the day. Like we're so old right now. We played League of Legends
Yeah,
back in.
right. Oh man, dude. Talking about age, right? Like
Yeah.
some of the players I bump into in high elo now because I make friends, right? And we
Right.
and we'll eventually hop onto Discord. Some of these guys are like kids. They're like in high
Right.
school.
Right.
Or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
man, I'm getting old. Like every time I play with them, and like they're higher ranked than me, they're better than me, and I just look at myself and look at them. I'm like, God, I'm getting
Mm.
old, man. Like some of these players, they started
Yeah.
playing like season like 8. Like,
Right.
bro, come
Right.
on. Like
Right.
Yeah, I mean, during those times, it's like it's also the age that we played the game, right? That's why we
Yeah,
think we're
yeah,
good
right.
during those times. But right now, we're a bit old, so I mean, it's a good
Yeah.
thing that you're still on the high rank and trap. But right now, my arms couldn't even. I couldn't even
I'm
play
I'm
like how I
washed,
did
man.
before.
I'm genuinely washed, man.
Yeah.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Actually, a sudden question popped into my mind because you going back a little bit, you briefly mentioned that you were irritated when you were in bronze. Like during those times, did you just want to climb out, or did you have like a specific like rank to it that you
Oh,
wanted to achieve?
I want a
oh.
diamond, man. I mean, okay. To be real, I want a challenger, but let's be realistic. I want a diamond, right? Because
Bronze
like
Right.
challenger.
back then they gave bags, they gave stuff out.
Oh, that's true though.
Right, right. I
Yeah,
remember. Yeah.
there was a
Yeah,
bag and there's a jacket. Like that was cool. That was like in my eyes, anyways. That was really cool, right? If
I
you had a
want that
Yeah.
jacket.
challenger, yeah, right. There's some people who still sell the jacket though.
Really.
Yeah, you can pick one up like secondhand, I think. But like,
Ah,
right, I think most people want like most people like saw the jacket. Like League PH like released like, oh, we're releasing a jacket for the challenger players, and it was like that's pretty cool, right?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
And
mean,
that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted.
Oh,
Did I
ever
get that?
since. Like
Yeah, ever since that's what I wanted.
wow.
By the time I was really grinding, it was gone. So
right.
disappointment for me.
Yeah.
You know
The
what?
la.
At
Yeah.
an early stage of my league journey as a player, like I was just considering like, wow, I really want the end of season skin because I've never been gold at that time.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And like
right. Right.
the early end of season skins were like really nice too. Like
Yeah,
not saying the new ones aren't nice, but the old ones had like a certain sense of they felt more
Nos-
exclusive. Maybe it's because of
yeah.
yeah.
At the
the rank
time,
I had at the time, but they felt
yeah.
more exclusive.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
Right?
it's also because it's I don't know. Everyone is like diamond or high rank right now. Like back in the day, it was hard climbing up. It was hard getting the skin. So when you get it, it was like, oh yes, I got the skin. I got this
Yeah,
exclusive thing, right? Right,
Yeah, I think that's a symptom of like people just generally getting better,
right,
right?
right.
exactly.
And right, and like uh, you mind me going on a quick tangent because
Yeah,
Hmm.
sure.
right, like we talk about like the OG the named moves, right? The insect, the expeke, stuff like that, right?
Right,
And looking back then when Insect did what he did and when Mad Life used to do what he did,
right.
that was insane. That was an insane level of play. And then comparing it to like a diamond player now,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
man,
Yeah,
every single diamond, if you can't do an Insect as a Lee Sin in diamond or in platinum, are you
you're
do
bad.
you even yeah, you're bad, right?
yeah.
People
You're
say you're bad.
you're straight up bad.
You're sure like
right,
what are you doing here if you can't even do an Insect? Why are you playing
Why'd
Lee
you even
Sin,
pick
right?
Lee Sin to begin with?
Yeah, right.
right, right.
But now it's like, oh, why can't you do the Chinese insect? Why can't you do the X insect? Right? It's
Yeah.
like, man,
right.
things are getting so complicated so quickly.
Yep.
Not that it's a bad thing, right? It's
Yeah,
just something to note. People are getting better. People are getting a lot
Yeah.
better
yeah.
in
Espe-
recent years.
Especially back then, like in the early seasons. That's why like getting to a rank that's really high is going to be difficult. Besides the lack of resources, like Dash mentioned, like a
Hmm.
lot of the players just have no idea what they're doing, like how
Right,
they're supposed to improve upon it.
Yeah,
Like
right.
generally, it was more of like a skill check more than anything in
Yeah,
the early
yeah.
seasons.
What is macro, right? Just
Yeah,
yeah,
you
just
you gotta stomp on your opponent in lane
yeah,
yeah,
basically to climb.
get more gold and
yeah.
Yeah,
you kill them.
and then you gotta add on the inter like tier promos. You have to win like a best of three every time you're trying to go up a tier.
Right, right, right.
Right? Like
That is
that
Dude,
that
really
made
I
it
hard.
so much harder.
I actually remember like one of my older games in the earlier seasons where literally after like 30 minutes, everyone's strat is to just group because we don't know how to split push yet, or we have no idea how to rotate like through
Yeah,
side lanes or in jungle and stuff like that. Like
yeah.
it's just
People don't
group.
know how to end the game, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
during
yeah.
those times, yeah.
The only
That is,
way to play was to just group.
yeah,
Oh man.
that was nice. And back on the things that you said a while ago, like back in the day, I consider myself a good Yasuo player, but right now, Yasuo has things like Keyblade,
Yeah, keyblades and
Beyblade,
stuff.
Airblade. Like,
Yeah.
what is that? I didn't do that back in the day. Like, what?
Yeah, it used to be like walk up and queue people, walk up and
Yeah,
dash from time to
right,
time. Maybe try to win
Yeah.
wall one or two skills, right?
You'd
right,
all
But
toss
it's
right.
your
not like
Malphite maybe.
yeah. And then now they're like one, players are getting better. Two, there are so many new champions where
Mm-hmm.
they bring in new interactions that you have to
Right.
learn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like the simple like, cause I feel like it's because champions are getting more convoluted, which
Right.
Yeah.
isn't particularly bad or good, but champions are getting more complicated, and it brings a certain level of play you have to adapt to like fight them, right? Like let's talk about Zeri, right? Zeri has so many
Yeah.
interactions that you have to understand as play
Yeah.
as Zeri, as if you're playing her, and if you're playing against her, you have to know the interactions as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I feel like that helps elevate the level of gameplay you need to actually be competitive at certain levels.
Right.
And it's pretty amazing that people are still you know climbing quickly, even though there's so many new things to learn. Because like we were saying, right, back then there were no resources. Everyone was kind of just skill check your opponent basically and an
Yeah.
ARAM.
Yeah.
And
Remember Mobile Fire?
oh yeah, mobile fire, dude.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Mobile
relevant or
mobile
loading.
fire is still alive.
Yeah.
But my 2 cents, guys, if you're trying to learn, don't use mobile fire. Not the
Right.
best, right?
Yeah,
Not the best.
no, it's not.
Not now. I mean,
Not
back then it
anymore.
was golden.
Yeah,
Like,
back
yeah.
then it was like
I
the
mean, it was
biggest.
golden because it was the only thing available,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly. Exactly.
Uh,
Oof, that is.
there
Oh
were there were
man.
other stuff like I think there was like an earlier version of like the Pro Builds website and like
Oh
LOL
right.
King.
Pro builds.
And there
Right.
was a
Right.
skill cap, was it? There's a previous version of skill something. I
Really?
forgot
Maybe
what
it's
it
I
was
can't
just
called.
remember the skill
yeah,
captain.
I don't remember. It's like LOL skill or something. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. There was
Yeah.
another one.
Yeah. I mean, oof. That was that was a man. That was a really weird journey back in the day. But okay. Yeah. Remember, I can. I always remember that Entrap is Grandmaster. Last season or until
Currently,
now? Currently.
last season, currently stuck in Diamond 3 because
Mm-hmm.
man, start a season grind it's tiring, man. It's tiring. I
Oh
don't have
yeah.
the stomach for it.
Yeah. It's
You have to play so
January.
many
Yeah.
games to climb.
Right.
And
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of an end of the season guy myself.
Right.
I feel like a
Need to
lot of
clutch
people
it
kind
up,
of like,
right?
yeah, you just kind of clutch it up. It's easier to climb. Well, I wouldn't say it's easier, but there's more of a reason to climb at the end of the season. Because in higher elos, right, every 10 days, you start decaying. You have a bank of games, but it
Right.
only goes up to 10. So you gotta play a game almost every day if you don't want to play more than one game a day,
Yeah.
Right.
right? You gotta play every day, or you're gonna decay. You lose like 100 LP a day, and that's a lot. Okay,
Yeah.
that's like 4 or 5 game wins, and considering the season ends near the end of the year, you're gonna have to play like you have to play like almost 300 games if you get the masters now and you want to maintain it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Not for me, not for me, man.
Yeah. For I mean, for people who have the time, it's
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
right?
right. Like that's why like you'll mostly see like high school kids or like
Yeah. Yeah.
first year college students. That those are the people who really have the time to grind at the start of the season. Me, an old person, nah, bro.
Yeah.
I have things to do. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. With that, I think I have a follow up question.
Mhm.
So it took a lot of it took a lot of seasons, right, for you to play. But what one trick pony during those times do you hate the most? So it
Man.
was. I mean, we had a lot, right? During all those seasons, we had a lot. So I think I could ask this for all of us. Para meron tayo sagot lahat. Pero I think let's go with Entrap first.
The worst, like what? The worst, what are we
Yeah.
asking? Like the worst
One trick.
champion I've ever
The-
one trick?
yeah. Yeah. The champion that they use.
Oh man, it's probably like to play with or to play against. Because I'm talking about playing against the people. The one trick I really hate are
Yeah.
Master Yi players. Master Yi one tricks, man. With any elo,
House up much.
it's horrible to fight. Okay, horrible to fight these Master Yi one tricks, because you play a basic. Master Yi is very basic. Okay, I'm not trying to start any arguments.
It is.
I think it's a
Yeah.
fact. Right? He has like
Yes.
two interactions you need to know of.
Right.
Your meditate auto cancel and your Q dodge a tower shot cancel. Dodge a tower shot. That's it. Those are basically the two interactions you need to understand. And by God, Master Yi players who like they play enough games that they get in your head. Okay, they get in your head. They it's not just the gameplay anymore. It's like the mental fight, right? It's the mental fight. They
Yeah, man.
invade or they'll camp your lane or they'll do some wild thing you're not expecting and it just destroys your mental.
Right.
And by the
Like,
time you realize, dude, by the time you realize what's happening, the game's over. It's over.
yeah,
Like you
you're
can't do
losing.
anything anymore. That
Yeah.
it's hard. Like, yeah, until now, from
Yeah.
season all the way from season 3, all the way until now, I hate Master Yi one tricks. It's so difficult. It's such a hassle.
Yeah, like during the post game, like right, yeah, like you lost to a master. I lost to a master Yi.
Yeah,
What? What? Then you play another game and you're tilted fully just
yeah.
because you lost to a master Yi during the past game, right?
It destroys your mental fortitude.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, let's go with master Yi. But you, Midnight, what do you hate the most?
There's a lot of things I hated, especially earlier on when I was like bad,
Yeah.
like really down bad. I
Mhm.
think I remember very vaguely because at there was like maybe season 4 was it? I don't remember where like Jax was like meta in top lane, and I
Mm-hmm.
was sort of spamming top lane for a while. And the thing
Yep.
that I absolutely hate the most, and I almost like rage quit a game, like actually from
Mm-hmm.
facing these types of one tricks, are those who play Riven 24 hours. I
Exactly. That's my
swear,
answer too.
I
That's my answer too.
I
Riven one
cannot.
tricks.
Dude,
Oh
it's
my.
like I'm playing League of Legends and a fighting game all in one game when I play against the
Right.
Riven. It's crazy.
Especially
Uh,
during those times, there's not a lot of champions who can fight against her well. Like, yes, you have a Darius, but who wants to play Darius? Like, yeah,
It's
right?
true.
But but I mean, it's super hard to play against a Riven back in the day. Especially, I was also a top lane main back in the day. I was like, what is this? I'm playing against a Riven. Her Q has 3 stacks. It's super hard to fight against. He has like 2 CCs and also a shield. Like, what? And they find the enjoyment with it. Like, they're always playing the Riven Masters Challengers. There's a lot of one trick Rivens back in season 5 to 7, if I remember correctly. And yeah, that was tiring to
I
play. Super.
like I specifically remember in that game that I remember in my head. I just
Hmm.
couldn't figure it out. I'm dumb. Like I'm gold or I'm plat. I just couldn't figure it out, right?
Right.
The way I know how to engage with Jax is just I jump in with my stun and I just kill them from there. I have no
Yeah.
idea how to like bait out certain abilities or whatsoever. So like
Right.
when I jump in and they dash out of my stun range, I'm screwed for the rest of my life because
Right.
you know what? My champion has one jump and he has like 4 5 dashes. I don't even understand at the time, right? Like
Right.
it's just unplayable. And I was like, wait, what if I just don't use my dodge, right? And then
Hmm.
I waited until he got impatient, and then I used my dodge. Wow, I can't dodge her abilities. I just dodge her
Right.
autos with the passive procs.
Uh-huh.
So
Right.
it's absolutely useless. I still die. That game, I think I went like 0 and 8 in like
Oh
9 minutes.
my. Yeah.
Oh no.
I
Oh
actually
my.
ran it down.
Whew, that was tough. That was tough.
Yeah.
But I think that is also my answer because yeah, there's a lot of ribbon one tricks back in the day. I mean, I could go on and fight a Yasuo one trick anytime, but a Riven one trick in the top lane, man, that's so hard to fight against because there's a lot of CCs going through and there's a lot of
Hmm.
cancels that they do, right? I don't
Yeah.
even know what it's called. Those
A lot
Yeah.
of
cancels.
animation and auto cancels you gotta learn if you
Yeah.
Yep.
even want to play Riven. Man, and it's so mobile too. Just
Yep.
Yeah.
blocking everything.
Can't
It,
even
it,
chase her. So,
now
oh,
nowadays she's unkillable because of like items and stuff.
Hero
But back
Drinker.
in the day, it's just it's unkillable sometimes when you don't know how to abuse like when her shield's on cooldown and stuff
Right.
or
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah.
And they
Uh
always build cooldown reduction
oh
during
yeah.
those days, right? Like
So like
always they yeah.
yeah, their E had like 4 second cooldown or something. It was so
Right.
hard, especially in lane.
Oh, that was tough. That was tough. But yeah. Okay, yeah. I think we're good with that, right? We already had our hatred with
That's a
Ribbon and
long hatred
Bastards, right?
discussion.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
but
hate
let's go
Riven.
back to Entrap. So, Entrap, tell us about tell us about your streamer life in general, like how you started, what keeps you in the community, and how is the community going, the Twitch community especially.
Okay, so I started out on Facebook, right? I
Right.
started streaming because honestly, I've been before I started, I was thinking about streaming for like a year or two.
Mm-hmm.
So little side note, if you're listening and you want to start streaming, just do it. Better now than later,
Yeah.
because what's important when it comes to streaming, I think, is what I found when I started is how much you enjoy it. Like, because when you're starting out, there's a lot of downtime. You're not talking to many people. Even
Uh-huh.
if you're bigger, a lot of the time you're not talking to anyone. You gotta get used to just enjoying being live, like being on stream, and understanding that you won't always have an audience to talk to, and it's fine. It's fine.
Right.
Um, so I started out on Facebook. Well, I was playing a lot of League on my own. I tried to stream some Escape from Tarkov. If you're familiar, it's an FPS game.
Yep.
Um, Found that I just didn't get viewership with Tarkov, so I stayed on League. I connected with a few people. So I connected with do you know Kanji? He used to be the mid laner and then top laner Fliab.
Right. Right.
Yeah, we randomly connected and then we started playing together. We started playing together basically. Like while he was streaming, like we would play with each other. Ended up playing with Dodoy, TG, Fofinia, if you know her.
Yeah.
Those people I started hanging out around them on Facebook. And then I quit League. So I quit League, and then I came back like a few months later, and I started. My sister swapped Samyao. She also streams. She swapped over onto Twitch from Facebook, and
Mm-hmm.
then she was explaining like, "Oh, it's better, it's better, it's better." So I'm like, "Okay, sige." I didn't I'm not that invested in my Facebook yet, so I transferred over to Twitch, and the
Mm-hmm.
Twitch community. As someone who transferred over, I enjoy the Twitch community more. I think that the community you find, the friends you make on Twitch are more meaningful and it's more tight, it's tighter knit basically. I've made more friends in my short time on Twitch than I have like my entire time on Facebook. Because on Facebook it feels very disconnected. It's a social media app that added on the streaming feature. Twitch is a website created for streaming, and that's the big
Mm-hmm.
difference,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
So the streaming is the main goal on Twitch. So the people you find on Twitch, the audience you find on Twitch, they're there to watch streamers. Whereas on Facebook, they're there to do something else. And they might have just bumped into your stream and now they're just checking it out. Or maybe they're just browsing, they're scrolling through their timeline and they see your stream and they just like look at it for a bit. And I feel like that's the big difference, right?
Yeah.
And in the past 6 months on Twitch, I feel like I've grown decently, um, about the same speed as on Facebook, honestly. Uh, but the followers you gain on Twitch, I feel like are more loyal, right? There's
Mm-hmm.
more retention. There's more retention on the following on Twitch. Like you'll see more of the people that actually follow you on Twitch than you do on Facebook. Why that is, I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it's
Mm-hmm.
because it's a streaming website versus a social media website, which I said a while ago. And I feel like that's
Yeah.
the biggest difference, really. And or I'm happy where I am now. I haven't been able to stream recently because I'm having issues with my motherboard and my
Mm-hmm.
webcam. But
Uh-huh.
it's fun. I'm enjoying Twitch. I would definitely recommend more people. The League BH community isn't as big on Twitch as it is on Facebook, I think.
Right.
But I feel like I would really recommend more people check out Twitch for League streamers in the Philippines because there are a lot. I feel like the content is different though, so you might need to like figure it out if it's for you personally. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's my
Right.
journey so far, anyways.
I
Mm-hmm.
I would like to bounce off one of the things you've said that when you started your whole streamer life, you decided that you just wanted to go on Facebook. Is there a particular reason why, or is it because that's just the only platform you're
Oh,
familiar with at the time?
accessibility basically, right?
Mm,
Everyone has a Facebook account. Uh, it's easier to just use Facebook because you're there already, and I feel like that's why most people watch and stream on Facebook
right.
because you're there, right? Like it's very easy to get started. You just click one button and you can go live from your Facebook like homepage. And I feel like that's why a lot of people start on Facebook, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm just testing the waters. Is streaming for me, right? If it's
Yep.
for me, then I can do something with it. And I feel like that's what most people do.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's bad. It's fine, right?
Yeah.
But if you're really into streaming, then Twitch or YouTube. YouTube's like new. I don't think there's much of a community for the Philippines, but YouTube's an option too.
Yep.
But
Right,
yeah,
right.
that's why I started on Facebook basically, and because my sister was already like streaming on Facebook, so I just followed basically what she was doing.
Yeah. And what's great about Facebook, right? Like the reason why people start on Facebook is also because you have your friends there. Like you have your
Yeah.
friends
Oh yeah.
to view your stream whenever, and like and that's where I think people think that they can build an audience with that, but that's also the reason why I think it's not as sustainable as Twitch. At least like what you said a while ago, on Twitch, people are there to watch, and on Facebook, people are there to socialize or post stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Twitch is really better if you want to. So like, yeah, that's really nice. So I also have a question, and chap. I think
Hmm.
on Twitch, the League of Legends community on Twitch is like what you said, tightly knit. Like whenever I am on Twitter, I always see you guys interacting. Like the Twitch community is always interacting. It's like you're in college, which is nice to see. Like I have that like nostalgic feeling that parang you have your college friends, you're there, like you see each other, like hi, what's up, ganon. Pero what I like about that is that you guys are so close. And what do you think makes the Twitch community that close? Like, yeah, that's my
Um.
question.
Hmm. I think that well, for one, I'd say that as a Filipino people, right, one of our cultural traits is community, and I feel like when you're placed in a environment where there aren't as many Filipinos, right? The
Hmm.
boom of the number of Filipino streamers on Twitch right now. It's a recent ish thing. So you know, being on Twitch, you know, in a foreign place, quote unquote foreign place, it's
Hmm.
dominated by a lot of Westerners, by a lot of foreigners. So I wasn't there when the Twitch PH community started, but I have friends who were, and from what they're telling me, basically people banded together because you know it's a foreign place. It's hard to make space for yourself,
Right.
and one of the common ways of making space and finding a safe place in a foreign place for most people is to make a small community. And that's how the Twitch Philippines community started. Because, mga Pilipino, mga, how
Understandable.
else can I
Yeah, I
explain it, right? It's like
understand. I
you
understand. I
find people with similar traits to
understand.
you, right? It's easier to interact with other Filipinos. That's the number one thing. And number two, it's easier to collaborate with people in the same time zone. It's hard to well, not just league, but like even other countries. It's hard to collaborate with someone from the United States or from
Hmm.
Right.
Europe because well, one time zone and two server location. It's very difficult, right? Um, so I feel like that's another big reason why people people banded together on the in the Twitch PH community. So why are we so close? Well,
Hmm.
one, because connections, right? I make one friend and then that one person connects me with a bunch of other people. You know, we
Yeah.
vibe. I like them. I try to make friends with them. And interacting on Twitch is the biggest way to interacting on Twitter is like a good way of maintaining that friendship, right?
Yep.
Because just interacting on Twitch when they're streaming, that being on their stream is pretty nice. But you want to make friendships that actually mean something, so you interact with them outside of their streaming zone, basically.
Right.
Okay,
But
that's nice.
yeah,
That's
yeah, I feel
nice.
like that's the biggest thing, right?
Uh, I have another question with regards to your streaming life after you've transitioned into Twitch, because I know that at at around July you were at around 100 followers. How are you able to? And this may be a certain like advice for other people who are trying to go serious as well into the streaming industry, where like your story is basically at around November you've gained 400 more followers than that. So like how would you say that you've grown your channel that much in just a short amount of like time?
Yeah, great question. I think the number one thing is, well, there are two things. I think consistency. So whether that be in your schedule, what you're streaming, and in your branding. So like what you I'll get into that after I explain the second point, if you don't mind. My
Hmm.
second,
Sure.
so it's consistency and basically connections. So I talk about this a lot. It's not uh as I think that in our culture, the word networking has a really negative connotation because well,
Oh yeah.
it's
Yep.
fair, right?
Hmm.
Because a lot of people associate it with using other people to get further in a community or in a field, right? The thing is, we shouldn't. Well, we can shy away from the word, but we shouldn't shy away from the idea of making friends and making connections with people who can help us. So when I was on Twitch, when I started out on Twitch, my sister, who was already streaming there and had friends who were streamers, she introduced me to a few people, right, that she thought I might be friends with, and I checked them out and I reached out. I talked to them like, hey, I'm planning on streaming soon, blah blah blah, stuff like that. And in turn, like I'm making genuine connections here, not like artificial ones. Like ayoko yung nagplaplastikan tayo as content creators. It's like
Right.
I genuinely like your content. I like your vibe. I try to make friends with you, and then a lot of the time, after you make friends with these people, they'll be your radio towers, right? They're your satellite dishes. They broadcast that, hey, this person's pretty cool. Hey, this person, you should check this person out. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
you're looking for league content. I don't stream league that much, pero my friend does, and it really helps build a strong community because it comes hand in hand with the Twitch PH community being so tight knit because
Right.
everyone there, like, we basically all know each other and we all try to help each other out, right? When people come into the community, we welcome them. We make sure everyone's comfortable. We try to make sure that there isn't like infighting or there aren't big issues in the community as much as we can. And there might be subgroups and stuff. But I consider most of people in Twitch PH my friend. I consider them nice people. And and I feel like that's a big part of growing, right? Other
Yeah.
than,
Yeah.
other than just other than just being consistent. You have to make friends in the community. You have to make friends with other content creators because um other than creating content on other platforms, which is another big thing, your viewership will mainly come from other people bringing their viewers to you. That's raiding. You can do that on Facebook too. I forgot what you call it. I think it's hosting, but it's similar where you're gonna grow if someone brings their, like, if I have 10 people and Midnight is a new streamer, right? If I have
Mm-hmm.
40 people watching me, and at the end of my stream, I'm like, yo, I'm done streaming, but if you're still gonna watch, I'll bring you guys to another person you can look at, right? So
Right.
from Midnight's, in, like, let's say he has 10 viewers, which is a pretty decent amount on Twitch. You have 10 viewers, and then I bring my 40 people to you. Even at 50% retention, you're still gaining 20 new viewers. And
Right.
then
Right.
and then you can go bring and then you can bring your current 30 viewers to a different streamer who might be
Yeah.
bigger than you, who has like 50 viewers. So now 50% retention, this guy's 65. And then this guy remembers. Because I remember when people raid me, when people bring their
Mm-hmm.
viewers to me. I remember. I take it to heart. Because when you raid someone, it means that, hey, I'm entrusting you with my viewers that I love. I'm giving you the people I love basically because I trust you or I like your content. So I
Mm-hmm.
remember. And so when people raid me, I always make it a point now, okay, when I see them live, if I think they're doing something cool and I think my viewers will like it, I'm gonna bring my viewers to them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a give and take kind of thing. You grow the community together. If the Twitch PH community grows, then you grow with them, right? It's a hand in hand kind of thing.
Yeah.
In my opinion, that's how I've always seen it, right?
Yep.
Yep.
And then the whole create content on different platforms and stuff. But
Yep.
I feel like it's very self-explanatory. You're bringing people outside of Twitch to Twitch basically.
Yep. That's
Okay.
That
that's
was a
nice.
lot.
That's nice.
That was a mouthful.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I mean
Yeah.
that. I think
Yeah.
that was
That's
particularly
very
insightful, especially
yes.
for those who are
Super.
listening. I mean, I'm also streaming on Twitch, but it's also nice to be reminded of stuff like that.
Yeah. It's like what I like about Twitch honestly is the fact that you can raid people. Yeah. That's really nice. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And you could
And
also do so in Facebook, but I guess it's
It's not the same, I think.
yeah, it's not the
It
same.
right.
really doesn't feel the same. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I'll just summarize so in case someone lost track. It's like basically uh find a community you like and be involved in it, whether or not it's the Philippine community, right? My
Right.
other sister is not part of like, it's not close to the Twitch PH community. She has her own community, and that's cool because that's who she vibes with, right?
Right.
There's no guarantee you're gonna vibe with a certain group of people, so just find the people you like, right? And
Yeah.
then grow them. It's
Vibe.
fine, right? No one's gonna
Yeah.
hold it against you.
Yeah. Oh man. That was a lot, but thank you so much for that, Entrap. I think I want to start streaming now, right? No, joke lang,
Let me know. Let me
joke,
Wow.
know.
joke lang, joke lang. pero,
I
okay, okay.
mean,
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah,
I could see that
but
happening, Dash. You should try it.
I mean, let's see. Let's see in the future if I get the what do you call that? The inspiration, or rather the what do you call that? Initiative to stream. Pero back to Entrap, other kasi you're a player, you're a content creator, and now you're a caster too. So I want to ask you. I want to ask you. So how was your? I think the first time that I heard you cast was from Dodge Rivals, and also the second time was in Elder Dragon series, right? During the Elder Dragon Championship. How was your experience casting? How was it?
Oh man, I started casting out of necessity because I wanted to run customs,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and I think that like if you're running customs and you're a player, it's not fun to watch. So I said I'll
Right.
be obs, I'll be an observer and I'll try to cast it, right? I'll try to do what they do in like LCS and stuff like that. It's really cool. It's fun to
Mm-hmm.
watch. The energy is there, and I didn't expect it to be this difficult. Casting is hard for the viewer,
Oh
for the
yeah.
listeners. Casting is very hard. Props to Dash, props to Datum, all the casters, Ronzu, all these people, all these casters, you know,
Mm-hmm.
they make it seem so easy. But
Yep.
in reality, casting it's difficult. A lot of these casters, some of them don't even play League as a main game.
Yeah.
They don't play League as a main game and they're casting your favorite game and they're
Right.
making it so that as a viewer you're more invested. It's more fun to watch because there's what like especially when nothing's happening on screen.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're
Right.
just watching someone, right? Okay, there's a meme, right? In worlds, they like to spectate the jungle clearing their camps, and like that's the
Right.
most boring thing to do on Earth. But with
Right.
the
Ah.
casters, right? It's kind of interesting. They talk about random stuff, which it's
Mm-hmm.
nice, you know. And and as a newbie caster, like it's something I do for fun, basically, and it's difficult. It's so difficult, right? It takes a lot of wit. It takes a lot of quick thinking. It's thinking on your feet. And I'm still learning. Every time I watch you guys cast, or I see you guys casting, I try to take mental notes
Mm-hmm.
because it's difficult. I have a lot of respect for casters. They make the game enjoyable. They make the game what it is. They make the esports scene a lot better, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, as a newbie caster, as someone who's like brand new, basically, it's difficult for me, and I think it's difficult still, even if you're experienced. But
Yeah.
you guys just make it seem easy, and that's basically how I feel about casting right now.
Yeah. But my insight on how you casted during the last time, I think I really like Entrap's what do you call this insight towards the game, because honestly, as a player was still playing in high ranks and the grandmasters on the higher ranks, the insight of players like that are so good. And sometimes especially when I started casting, it's really hard to put it into words, right? But what's good about Entrap is he can put it into words, and that's yeah. I think, man, you're doing great for me.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, you're doing
I
great. You're
I
doing
agree
great.
with that. Like a lot of our situation when it comes to casting is that we generally provide good like entertainment value, and a lot of our viewers enjoy it. I mean,
Hmm.
even the comment section are basically saying, "Oh, the casters are great for the Elder Dragon series." But
Hmm.
I think we haven't like gotten that part yet of the cast where like we get to dive deeper on certain elements of what these like strong teams are doing. And
Hmm.
I think that's one of your niches because you're also like a high elo player,
Yep.
which is pretty interesting.
I mean, you could always
Yeah.
just let me know if you need help, if you need an analyst. I'm always down to help you guys.
Yeah.
Oh
I think it's
yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
I
For
think it's
sure. For
fun.
sure. For sure. For sure. But yep, that was yeah. Yeah. I think that is it for our. That is a lot, right? In trap, but siguro if you're down for it, we'll get you also later for kasi with this Midnight and I discuss the patch 12.1, 12.2, the patches that happened during the last time. And are you down for it? We can put
Oh
you
yeah,
in later. Yeah. Okay, let's
12.1, twelve point
yeah.
two.
Yeah, let's have a
Yeah.
I'm
discussion later.
interested now.
But let's start with the community questions. We have some questions from people right there from Ask Our Guest. So, guys, if you want to ask questions soon, if we'll have another guest, just put it in on Ask Our Guest after we put in the topic. Para makuha namin yung mga gusto nyo i-ask for our guests. But right now, we have our community questions. This first question is from Shion. What is the best lane to climb solo queue?
Oh wow, best lane to climb solo queue.
Yeah.
Um, I think that it's either jungle. I know it's not a lane,
Mm-hmm.
but jungle or mid lane are the best roles in my opinion. So you might ask why. So
Mm-hmm.
one, jungle has the most independence in the game, right? Other
Right.
than support, because support you're still kind of lane bound for the first few minutes. Junglers are never lane bound. So what do I mean by lane bound? What I mean is you're not stuck in a certain area of the map. You can be anywhere on the map, so you have the most impact basically. That's why that okay. I know it's a meme, but that's why most people say jungle diff. That's why jungle diff is the most common complaint that people have. It's
Because
Right.
because
it's
if your
true.
jungler is bad,
Yeah.
or if your jungler is on the wrong side of the map at a specific time, you cannot do anything. Because who else is gonna replace the jungler, right?
Yeah.
It's either the support has to be roaming, which makes the your bot lane weaker, or you're just gonna fight a 1v2 or a 1v3 even if your jungler's not there. And that's why
Yeah.
jungle diff is it's such a common complaint,
It's
right?
a real thing.
It's a meme at this point, but it's a
Yeah.
real thing. And so as a jungler, you have a lot of responsibility. Two, jungle is good for climbing because it's consistent, right? You can
Right.
consistently okay. So this is my one of the biggest things I always tell players that if I'm helping them out or I'm trying to coach them. Um as a jungler, there's no reason you should be clearing slow. There's no reason to be behind on farm because one, no one is gonna clear your jungle camps unless your team is stealing them or the enemy is stealing them. They don't crash into a tower, right? If you're CSing, you might miss CS because a minion kills the minion you're about to take, or the tower's taking your wave. With
Right.
jungle camps that doesn't happen, right? The limiting factor is you. Are you dying too often? Are you not clearing them? Or like are you not clearing them properly? Right? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
like you should be able to consistently hit like 100 CS by like 12 minutes very easily
Mm-hmm.
if you're good. If you're in like a farming jungler, you should be able to do that like every single game almost, right?
Right. Yeah.
And then
And yeah, continue.
mid lane is good because you're in the center of the map. Similar, it's a bit weaker than jungler in my opinion,
Mm-hmm.
but having a good mid lane gives your jungler a lot of freedom because he can invade a lot because the mid lane can respond, or the mid lane can respond to top lane or bot lane because you're in the center of the map. So it opens up a lot of opportunities for your team. So those two are the strongest roles to climb on for me.
Okay. So one thing also I would like to add for the junglers out there. What's good about jungling, to be honest, is the mental fight that you're doing against the other jungler. Because
Mm,
you're tracking each other, right? You're tracking each other on where you are. And that is where sometimes yung what do you call that word? Yung I forgot the
mental
word.
warfare. What's the word?
No. I forgot the word. The word na kasi you need to clear all your jungle camps, right? There's
Okay,
sometimes na maka-counter jungle ka tapos
vertical jungle,
masisira yung
pathing,
quote unquote yeah,
pathing.
yung pathing mo, masisira yung pathing mo. And that's what I like about the jungle. Kasi before I hated it the most during the past seasons, jungle is super hard for me kasi I need to gank. I need to do this stuff. Kasi pag nagle-lane ka, all you think about is your lane. All you think about is my enemy not here? Is my enemy here? I'll tell the team. Ganon. Pero pag sa jungle, you need to think about the jungler. You need to think about the laning. How is it going? That is like super hard. And also that's also the reason why everybody considers it super hard is because you need to think about a lot of stuff before you go you try and be successful. But if you're good with doing that, I think also jungle is the best lane to
Mhm.
climb. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Midnight?
Oh, I mean, I pretty much agree on all the points mentioned so far. I think for me it would be jungle, the best role to climb because yeah, like what everyone said so far, you have the initiative. Yeah, like the jungler is in charge of the early game. You are the
Right.
only one who's able to disrupt people from CSing freely and shoving waves because you can do something. You could
Mhm.
invade, um you could gank their lanes. Like you're the one who's supposed to um create some initiative for your team and start snowballing your early game.
Yep.
Yeah,
Exactly. Exactly.
there's a reason why in higher levels of play, laners will plan according to where the jungler starts, right? Like
Yes.
if you know that the your jungler starting in the bot side and you're a top laner, and you know your jungler's good, then you can expect your jungler to be in your lane around 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
Right.
And you can plan around that. You can manipulate your wave so that the enemy laner has to be on your tower at 3 minutes. So you
Yeah.
get a free gank. Because your jungler, you know where your jungler is. Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like if you didn't have a jungler, or if your jungler started blue side, then that would be meaningless because
Yeah.
right, that's meaningless. Or if you know where the enemy jungler starts, you can play around it.
Right.
People having to play around where you're starting or where the enemy jungler is starting, I think that shows how powerful the role is basically because there's no counterplay to that. If the
Right.
enemy jungler starts a certain area, you can't really do anything to stop them
Yeah.
because independent variable. You can't touch that basically.
Yeah. That's what's
Yep.
great about the jungle, right? Like they can really disrupt your lane, or you can actually stop them from uh disrupting your lane by controlling your lane, right? So
Yeah,
that's what's really hard and also good about it. You're fighting the mental warfare. But yeah, I think all our points are considered now, no? So let's go to the next question. Okay, I think you
real quick. Sorry.
yeah,
If
yeah.
you're duo queuing though, if you're duo queuing, it's different. If you're duo queuing, it's bot AD. It's bot support. Best
Hmm.
roles, bot support, 100%.
Oh, right.
You'll destroy everyone. Yun lang. I just wanted to mention that because people might like go jungle and like AD, but
I
it's
mean,
bot support. It's best in
yeah.
duo queue.
Bot support, yeah, you can really control the lane because the support can rotate, right? So
Yeah,
that could be good. Yeah. Also, let's go with this last question. I mean, second question. You answered this kanina. Have you felt burnout in League? I think that's a yes, right?
yeah.
And what did you do to move forward?
What did I do to move forward from being burnt out in league? I stopped playing
Yeah.
league for like a month or two.
Right.
It's real. Burnout is real, guys.
Right.
To
Yep.
the viewers,
Hmm.
burnout is real, guys. Just accept it and take a break. You know, don't mental boom yourself. There's a reason why the healthy way to climb. If you guys are familiar with Yobel, right? Very high elo
Yes.
player, very good
Yep.
mid laner,
Yep.
very consistent player, very good mental attitude. When it comes to the game, he plays a game. If he loses, he just stops. He
Yeah.
stops. You know
That's
why?
nice.
Because he understands that your mental health your mental health is important when it comes to grinding, when it comes to playing league. Because it takes it's tiring, I'm sure everyone understands. It's tiring when you lose a game you feel like you shouldn't lose.
Oh yeah.
And it
Right.
piles up. It'll pile up if you keep playing those games. If you continue to grind games even though your mental is kind of ruined,
Yeah.
even if you win, like even if you win a game after that, it's like the mental toll is heavy and you'll burn out quicker. Like
Yeah.
we don't like I understand, we're addicted to league. Like a lot of the players are addicted. I'm addicted to league. I'm not
Right.
ashamed to say it. Um
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
but you gotta take a break sometimes.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've taking a break. I play like 3 4 games a day and that's it. A lot, five is a lot for me. And then
Yeah.
I stop because it's a lot of time. For one, I don't have as much time anymore, and two, uh it 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 gives me the freedom na okay, I'm done for the day. I'll play again tomorrow. Right? I don't have that feeling na wow, I played 20 games today and I won 3. I
I won
won
half
3
of
out
it.
of I won half. Like my god, what was the point? Like cuz okay, I'm sure you guys understand that it's frustrating when you play 10 games, you win 5, you lose 5 cuz then your LP, right, you did not move.
Mm.
You
Yep.
barely move. Right, you
Just
Yeah.
a
started like
filter.
let's say you started 50 LP, you'll end like 55 LP. Like what the hell did I just waste like 6 hours for? What did I spend 6 hours doing? I gained
Right.
5 points, right? It's frustrating. And and that's how you burn out. Okay? That's how you burn out. So how do you stop burnout? Just take a break. However
Yeah.
long you need the break to be. I took the longest break I took was like a year. I took 1 season break. back in like season 8 or something. I didn't play.
Ooh.
And you know what? I came back, I was better. When I came back, I immediately shot up in rank.
Oh wow.
So maybe it's an anecdote, maybe that's just me, but
Mm-hmm.
mental
Yeah.
is
It helps.
important. I
It
think that if
helps.
your mental is in a good state, you will climb. You'll have an easier time climbing, like a lot easier.
Yeah. Totally. Totally. Midnight. You have some thoughts?
Uh, no, I think I was pretty much satisfied with that
Yeah. Me
answer.
too.
Yeah.
Medyo
And
madaldal,
also,
sorry, medyo madaldal.
No, no,
no,
I
it's great. It's great. It's
it's
great.
complete. I like it.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also, meron kasing ano eh, meron kasing, uh, what do you call that? A thinking for when you're with friends, right? Like when you're playing with
Can't
friends.
end on the loss.
Yeah, you can end on a loss, right? But
Okay,
Oh,
you can't do that when you're climbing. You can't
when
do
you're
that.
solo, okay, yeah, when you're solo, don't do that. When you're with friends, go
Right?
ahead, right? Can't
Yeah.
end the loss, can't end the win streak.
Yeah.
Just play until you pass out, right? I think
Yeah.
that's fine. With friends, it's fine.
yeah, with friends
Because
Yeah.
it's
if you
fine because
lose,
at least you guys aren't sleeping.
you're
You
You're
yeah,
know,
you're
yeah.
losing together.
you're
There's a
losing
Yeah.
together.
camaraderie.
It's
You're suffering
yeah,
together. Right?
Wala,
That's nice.
katropa
building
mo yan eh,
connections.
kahit talo kayo, as long as you're all laughing, it's fine. When you're
Right.
solo, you're not with friends, dude.
Right.
You're 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 one
You're
you're
just
one
sad.
man against 9 people in a solo queue game, okay?
Yep.
And I'm sure a lot of people can relate. It's not the same thing. So it's
Right.
like, don't do that to your solo queue games. You're gonna tilt. I swear, you're gonna tilt.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Oh, okay. So let's go with our next question. Okay, we can all answer with this. Hardest champ you've mastered.
Ooh. Uh huh. Like
I mean,
let me see.
what is the context of mastered in this situation?
Mm, I can say
Bard.
I'm not really sure. Maybe a level 7 and a champion that you think you're good at, siguro?
Bard. I think Bard is the hardest champion I've mastered.
Yeah.
Uh,
Okay. Tell us about Bard. Why?
Um
Why?
Bard has a lot of weird interactions, right? Because
Right.
as a support player, you don't get as much like highlight quote unquote highlight clips, right? You don't get as many
Mhm.
flashy plays as a support, unless like I'm playing Pike, which I also
Uh-huh.
used to I main Pike, but like as a bard, it comes down to a lot of roaming. You have to understand when and how to roam, and then you have to understand yeah, exactly. You have to understand how to use your kit, because your ultimate, right, bard, you can int your team with bard ultimate, right?
oh yeah.
Yeah. So if
For
you guys don't know what
sure.
bard ultimate's tempered fate, it's the one that makes you go golden.
Mhm.
The number of plays you can do with tempered fate and the number of ints you can do with tempered fate, they're about equal, right? You can make your tower go golden to block
Mhm.
Rift Herald, but you can accidentally ult your teammate and get them stuck between 5 people if you do it wrong.
They're
So
dead
like,
for sure.
yeah, you could catch the jinx, right? You could catch the jinx and the support on the enemy team with your ultimate, but you could also save the jinx and the support from a Malphite ultimate if you do it wrong. So
Mhm.
like, risk reward, you have to understand how to use it. If you use it wrong, then your team will not stop pinging you, and you're gonna get inted. Like you're gonna get put on an int list or something if you do it wrong. So I feel
Right.
like Bard, one of the most rewarding supports I've learned how to play, and honestly, I'd say I've mastered him basically. And even I'm confident I've mastered him basically. I'm like I have 130,000 points. That's not as many as some people, but
That's a lot. That's a lot.
yeah, I think it's a decent amount. I would
Yeah.
say it's a lot. I really wouldn't say it's a lot,
I mean,
honestly. Have
there's
you seen?
people who have 1 million points plus
Yeah, there are people
plus,
with like
right?
millions of points, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a lot, man. But I think I'm pretty confident in my bard skills. Uh, like what is my win rate? Like well, actually I've only played 3 games, but like I'm 2 out of 3 right now on bard mode.
August. That's a
But
positive win
Okay,
rate.
that
that's
yeah,
67% was
Yeah.
boys and girls, 67%.
The
But
math
that
doesn't lie there.
that's
yeah,
great.
right. I mean that I bet that's pretty high percentage.
That's true.
That's pretty high in the statistics ladder, I think. So
Uh,
I don't think anyone can like say I haven't mastered Bard with a stat
yeah,
line like that.
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure, for sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. But how about you, Midnight? How about you?
So I've been thinking about this the entire time Entrapped was talking, and
Mhm.
here's the issue. All right,
Uh-huh.
like I think it's an issue for me is that um I'm not really one of those people who have like a specialized like champion or like a role.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, at different seasons I maybe have played like uh jungle as my most played role, and maybe here and there I play a lot of like supports. Um but I basically play a little bit of everything because
Mhm.
my personal enjoyment in playing League is being able to uh play every champion on a proficient level, or at least like in my specific situation on a diamond level. At least that's my current goal.
Mhm.
So there's a lot to choose from, but I feel like, and my way of like quoting or putting the context of like mastery in this case is not necessarily like I've played a ton of games on this champion. I'm crazy with it. It's like I've played enough games that I think it's a good enough sample size, and I'm very consistent in winning or like doing my job inside of like the game.
Mhm.
And I'd probably put that award to Rise. I know it's such a
Ooh.
random like uh random pick because I did mention I played a lot of jungle and support. But back when I was playing mid, I think I I showed so much skill expression. By the way, I beat a grandmaster mid laner with my
Mhm.
Rise. Um, and I think the skill for me that I sort of liked when I played enough Rise was being able to get through the early game is one of the hardest challenges
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you play Rise.
yeah.
So, because
Yeah.
I swear, like when you get into the higher ranks, everyone goes like ballistic into trying to kill you in mid. Like the support will roam, like the jungle is
Yeah,
there
it's
every time.
mid is never a 1v1 in high
Yeah,
elo.
Yeah,
Never.
for sure.
you think
Yeah.
you're just CSing, but before you get like your first core item, you're gonna
You're
suffer a
gonna,
bit.
yeah. You're just gonna got forever.
Yeah, I swear it wasn't fun, but I was able to play around a lot of the stuff during the early game, and then obviously once you get to the mid to late game stuff, I think I really enjoyed playing around cooldowns because Rise you can't just go face front and just tank everything. You're gonna die, and so
Yeah.
you have to like watch what
Yeah.
cooldowns are they using, and like the CC that they're throwing, so that you can carefully flush out your spells. I think I was able to do that pretty well in my back in my peak
Mhm.
days. Right
Yeah.
now, I'm not so good playing League. I'm not proud of it, but yeah, I think that would be probably the hardest champ I've ever mastered. I think Rise is
Yeah.
super hard in a sense that
Hmm.
there's
Constantly changes.
so much stuff that you have to like do inside
Yeah.
of a game to even do like, how do I say this? Like Malzahar is an example of someone who plays like Rise but takes literally one button to do, or two
What do you
buttons at,
mean?
at max.
What do you mean? It's a difficult champion, man. Flash R,
Yeah.
bro. It's
Oh
so
yeah,
hard.
yeah. Sorry, I mean,
Perfect.
yeah. If I can't really find the right combination, I think it's like I don't know DF. I don't know, something like that.
DF, or
Yeah,
DR, something. DR or
DR.
FR,
Yeah,
depends.
it's
It
it's
depends.
something on your keyboard, but yeah, it's pretty hard to play Malzahar. So yeah, no, I mean, in all seriousness, like the job of Malzahar dealing consistent like like
A
like
single
when you're
target
like
damage.
single
Yeah.
target damage on someone is so easy. You literally press like 1 to 3 buttons and you've done it. With
Yeah.
Rise, it's gonna take you a while. You're gonna take a lot of cycles to do the same thing that Malzahar did,
Yep.
and you're it's not even guaranteed.
Yeah.
So that's just my small analogy there.
Hmm.
Yeah. And remember back in the day when Rise can earth his way in the game, like,
Oh
Oh
and
yeah,
yeah.
that's also the hard thing about Rice. He constantly changes. Like
yeah.
every time there's one change that Riot would do with Rice that, oh, the Rice Banes would be like, oh, another thing that we need to think about. Yeah.
Also, just to share a short rant, when I play Rise, I hate it when my solo queue teammates. You know how your realm warp grants vision?
Right.
I,
Yeah.
I
Then they
hate it
go in.
when
Use it
my
for a vision,
my
and then they hop
my
in.
my
Yeah.
tank jumps into the realm warp when I'm just scouting if they're doing Baron. Okay,
Bro,
stop.
you gotta get the
No.
value, dude. You gotta get the value. You
Yeah,
can't just
No.
yeah,
use ultimate.
yeah. Because you use the ultimate anyway. You might as well go in. Yeah, lose
Yeah,
the
dude.
game.
Oh
Sorry, a
my.
little bit of salt.
Yeah, man, that's tilting for sure. But
Yeah,
I think it's my turn now, right?
yeah, yeah.
I don't know if it's hard though. But back when I was still grinding, back in the day, like I really
Hit Yasuo.
yeah, no. I really
Yasuo.
fancy those champions that aren't played by anyone. So that's what.
Oh,
This is also where I got the name Dash with
Oh,
this champion.
wait.
Even though he doesn't have a dash in his name,
What?
what?
in his kit, he's
I'm so
Cinch.
confused. What a
He's
ride.
Cinch. So
Singed?
yeah,
Singed. Okay.
Remember Singe back in the day? Like
I
nobody
mean,
plays Singe.
rule number one, right? Never
Yeah,
chase
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Singe
yeah.
ever.
First thing you learn.
But man, I played a lot of. I mean, I was really grinding up in ranks back in the day, right? I was fighting LLP players and everything, and I only use Singe. Like, yes, we hate some one trick phonies, but I was a Singe one trick back in the day when I was climbing. So
Oh, wow.
I mean, man, it's really I don't know, man. It's disgusting. It's disgusting that I did that back in the day. Like I'm using Cinch all the time. I mean, I don't know if it's hard, but back in the day, it was hard to play Cinch just because the meta champions aren't really good again. I mean, are really good against Cinch because the bruiser meta that is where Cinch has a hard time because Singe works well against tanks because he can just run up to anyone. Yes, he can get CC'd, but he doesn't care anyway. But what's hard about Singe's kit is the combo that he does. The what do you call that? The mega adhesive,
And the
then the
Pull
fling.
fling.
you into
Yeah,
Yeah.
fling
to the
into him.
turret. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was what I was doing back in those days when I was still climbing, and I think I have 100k plus points on Singe if I remember right.
Oh, my.
Yeah, and yeah, that was nice. That was those were the days, and that was really nice. You see, and I think it's really hard also back in the day because you don't really lane with Cinch. You lane, you go to what do you call that
Like
term
in
when you do
between
that?
Proxy. You
the.
just
Yeah, you go
proxy.
in bit. Yeah, you proxy, then
You
you do
proxy.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a ride. It was a ride when I did that.
That's so fun. You get really high CS, like CS
right,
counts
right.
on
Yeah.
Singe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Singe too as a champion. I never played it that much, but every time I
Mhm.
did, it's a blast.
Singe is actually pretty strong now because of the Rylai's buff, though.
That's true.
Right. Right. True.
Yep.
And also back in the day, since he doesn't have Conqueror, he has Deathfire Touch, if I
Oh
remember.
man,
Yeah,
old,
that
really.
yeah. I'm so old. But yeah, that was what I
Oh
was using.
wow. Oh, that took me a while to figure out what Deathfire Touch was.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
It's a
The
DOT.
DPS. Yeah, right,
yeah,
right.
it's the DOT one.
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Man, that we're so old. We're so old, man. But yeah, this is the last question that I have. This is for Entrapped, for sure. So this is a question from Bruno. How do you balance being a content creator and your obligations in life? That was
Oh,
deep, but yeah, go for it, Entrapped.
Oh
um,
boy.
mm, one sec. I think it's like any other hobby, right? It's like any other hobby. Or okay, no. Let's make it easier. Um, it's the same as playing League all day, right? I feel like a lot of players play League all day. So as a content creator, you have to basically translate that into your live, your on stream. Like if you play games for 10 hours every day,
Hmm.
you could very easily stream for 8 hours every day, you know.
Yep.
It's not that different, right? It's not that different from playing games all day. The only difference is the level of energy you need to bring to the table. So when I stream, I'm not a super high energy stream. There are people who are super high energy, but I'm not. I'm more chill. I'm more I like to be more comfy when I'm streaming other than when I'm grinding like rank games out. So it takes me a bit more energy, you know. I'm pretty introverted. So when it comes
Mhm.
to streaming, I have to put in energy, I put in the effort to really keep talking. I have to talk to myself, or I have to talk about what I'm doing, or I have to find ways to create content. And that's the biggest difference, right? I'm spending the same amount of time, but different amount of energy. So with that, I guess the way you balance it is how much the streaming or content creation mean to you, right? Uh like how badly do you want to continue creating content?
Yeah.
Because that's where you can figure out that's when you figure out how much are you gonna be streaming every week? how often are you gonna be streaming every week, right? Are you
Mhm.
gonna be streaming 3 times a week, 4 times a week, every day? Uh, and you have to consider that, right? It's not a linear path where everyone will stream the same amount. It's not. It's not like everyone will be streaming with the same amount of energy, or the same audience, or the same type of content. And finding balance as a content creator and in real life, part of that is understanding your audience and understanding the type of community you want to build, right?
Right.
My community is very chill. My community is very league focused, and the people who watch me to see the gameplay. They're not there because I'm the well. I hope I'm funny, but they. I think that my viewers don't watch me because I'm the funniest guy on earth or because I'm the best player on earth. I feel like they watch me because I know how to interact with them while I'm playing the game. Right? I feel like that's my number one asset, that I've learned how to multitask. I can play the game and continuously read chat without having to stop or without having to lessen the amount of concentration I have on the game.
Wow.
So I feel like you have to find your niche and you have to find what you want to do, and that's how you're gonna find your balance. Because now when I stream, I know that, oh, I don't have to dress up that much.
Mhm.
I don't have to prepare that many jokes or prepare that much downtime videos, because I know my viewers are okay with me just talking for like 30 minutes while waiting for a game. And so I can adjust how I schedule things, right? I can make my stream. I can stream for with this much content, with this constraint. I think I can stream for 4 hours 3 times a week, and the rest of the week I can chill because that's
Right.
what I'm comfortable with. That's what my schedule allows, and I feel like that's what's important as a new content creator or as a veteran content creator. You have to find out what kind of content and what it requires of you. Right. That's my advice. That's
Right,
all.
right.
That's all.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, that was insightful. I think
Yeah.
everyone would get to learn from that. I mean, not even as a from the perspective of the question between like a content creator and like your life. I think that applies to pretty much what Entrap mentioned, where it applies to pretty much any hobby. Like if you're
Right.
having troubles finding a balance to certain things in your life, I think what Entrap shared today was kind of a reminder for everyone that you know
Yeah.
you can actually take your things your way if you just carefully assess like uh how like your priorities and how things mean to you.
Yeah.
Guys,
You can
I'm
always
I'm
find your
I'm
balance.
I'm
Yeah.
selling a life coaching session na nga pala.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just started to become real quick.
Yeah, that's the TED Talk nga pala. Pero, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, that was, ano na eh, complete na. I don't have any thoughts about it kasi
Same.
Entrap pretty much encapsulated it all. But now, let's move on to the last part of our podcast. We're 1 hour 18 minutes into this, and yeah, I think kala ko pa nga it was like 30 minutes pa lang. Like I'm
Yeah,
enjoying this too
same.
much. So yeah, let's go to our last part of the podcast where we talk about the Elder Dragon series and also the patches that came before yung magiging Elder Dragon series natin this Sunday. So Midnight, there's a lot of changes with the Elder Dragon series. Can you like give us a TLDR on how the format would be for the Elder Dragon series?
Basically for the qualifiers itself, nothing really much changed. But for when it comes to the championship, I guess that's where most of the things changed. And well, that's the final goal kasi of like the Elder Dragon series, so I guess
Mhm.
everyone's also concerned with it.
Yep.
The first one that changed was like, well, now we it's no longer like every month there's literally something that's gonna happen. We added like a breaks in like May and November so that
Mhm.
people have time to prepare for the championship that follows that.
Yep.
And now there's like four qualifiers leading to a championship, meaning that there are a total of 8 slots now to fight for,
Hey.
which is pretty exciting if you think about it, because then not only do you think like, well, I get more chances of getting in, but secondarily, once you get into the championship, well, now the stakes are going to be higher because, well, you all qualified, so all of you are good. Well, who's going to be the champion? That's sort of like the question at the end of the day. And other than that, it's pretty much the same thing. I guess for the championship format in itself, the group stage went from a best of one to a best of two. The best of two format is not very common.
Yep.
Honestly, it's a lot more common in other regions like Europe. But it's just a way to add more decisive like scores, like whether you get 2-0 or whether you went like 1-1 on a match. That will lead
Yep.
to a much more competitive sort of standings at the very end of the group stage. So you really
Mhm.
know who's the best going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And we did a slight change where in the playoffs, in the semifinals are no longer best of fives. They're now best of threes.
Hmm.
But the finals will still remain best of five because obviously that's where, all the hype's gonna be. You really have to give it your all during the finals. So that's pretty much the rundown of what changed for the whole thing. I think for the qualifiers, mainly you're still concerned with the same thing. You just want to get to the finals so you can qualify.
Yeah. What's great about this is during the playoffs, at least, we can see like the better team talaga dun sa huli, which is really nice to have. And qualifiers, I think everyone can still has time to join, right? If ever they want to join right now,
Oh,
because
right,
it's the last
actually.
day, right?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for reminding that.
Yeah.
Registration is still open up until 9 p.m. and it closes pretty quickly. So if you haven't
Yeah.
signed up yet, or if you haven't gotten your friends to sign up with you, then might as
Yep.
well, open up the link. It's in the announcements channel on
Yeah.
Discord. So yeah.
Yeah. But if this is posted on YouTube, it's probably done already.
Yeah, it's probably done. If you're watching this on
Yeah.
YouTube, it's done.
Yeah, it's done already. But yeah, let's talk about dahil nga, we all know the format for the Elder Dragon series already. We talked about last week. What are we expecting from this season of Elder Dragon series? Medyo may iba. Probably gonna be seeing some teams na we're gonna be seeing them again. Like West Point Esports, right? Who has been constantly out there
Oh
playing a
yeah.
lot of League of Legends, practicing even sa Korean servers. They're there and they're practicing there. So I think they're a team that you need to look out for, especially pag makakatapat nyo sila sa bracket. So you need to look out for West Point Esports, everyone. But again, back to this. Let's talk about the patches that came in. Kasi during the last time for our podcast, we have 11.24. But now
Yep.
we have 12.1, we have 12.2 na up na sa server natin. So let's talk about the patches. Patch 12.1, hit me with everything you got, guys. I can only say Unleash Teleport. Tell me about it.
Man, 12.1, wow. Um, like you said, I think Unleash Teleport was the biggest change here.
Right.
Right.
I think we
So
can
if you
all
guys
agree on
don't,
that.
yeah, if you guys
Mhm.
aren't familiar with the Unleash Teleport, what happens? What happened is there is no more Sin Teleport into bot lane for my
Right.
bot lane and
No.
support players out there.
Right.
They can no longer 5-man gank you just because their bot lane's losing. So you can't teleport the minions anymore at
Hmm.
until
Or
14
wards for
minutes.
that
Yeah,
matter.
you can't
Right.
teleport anything but a tower until 14 minutes. But the thing is, at 14 minutes, your teleport cooldown is lower than it would be before, right? It's changed now. So it's a 6 minute cooldown for the regular teleport until 14 minutes. So you can teleport at most twice. You can teleport twice before 14, and then after that, you can start teleporting every 4 minutes to anything, to like minion, to like how
Hmm.
regular teleport used to work.
Yep.
And that was the biggest change I think for that patch. And maybe Diana change was pretty big too. Like
All right.
Diana became the strongest jungler basically
Yeah,
for
because of her
12.1.
clear.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they really brought back the jungle there with
Yeah.
those passive changes.
Yeah, so
Made.
from 40% to 50% AP scaling. And then like the damage went up to 300% instead of 250. Super big change there.
Yep. That's super strong. Honestly, her clear is just a cakewalk right now every time because it's just easier for her to at least clear up the jungle then go for some ganks. She can focus on other things. But I think Midnight has a lot of thoughts about Unleash Teleport, right, Midnight?
Um, I mean,
Yeah.
I think I was so excited with this change because my principles when it comes to at least training my players and training my team, uh, for for how we want to play our games is that we generally approach the scaling option more compared to the PH aggression sort of vibe
Hmm.
where we really want to draft in a way that we're playing for team fights more, because I feel like we have much more of a chance there. Because in especially in like Elder Dragon, right? Because it's an open tournament, there's so many strong players, so you're gonna get smashed in lane, right? Like probably like a good percentage of the time. But I feel like there's a much more window to to abuse or to like win if you can like find like this huge team fight where like your coordination as a team matters. So in relation to the teleport change, this really helped my principle in in scaling, because like what Entrap said, there's no more like 4 minute TPs in bot lane, like two people are gonna channel TP and then everyone's there all of a sudden. Like the jungler starts coming as well after the TPs, and I feel like nowadays it's less influenced by the bot lane at this point,
Yep.
because because of the teleport changes, and now there's a lot more sort of flexibility in like how you want to play around the map. Like you could play around top side if you want to, especially if you want to get herald early on. You could play around like mid lane so that you can move your mid lane around the map. You could play around bot lane to like shape up dragon. Like there's now so many avenues for the early game, and still it's the same afterwards. Like after plates fall, like you get your unleashed teleport. You can still do the things you want, but
Yep.
because you can survive more in the early game, there's still more aggressive dives that you can do where you TP like in a minion who's tanking the turret or something like that. I think it's great uh for teams or even just players in solo queue who want to have a bit more peaceful environment in their lane. Especially, for example, I mentioned one of the champions I mentioned earlier in this podcast was like Rise. Yeah,
Hmm.
if you're Rise, you don't want, maybe if you're playing Rise top lane for some reason, you don't want someone TPing behind you as you push towards your lane and then you just die like 5 minutes in. It's terrible. Right
Right.
now with the changes, you can safely farm in top lane if you want to. If you're in mid lane, you're chilling. You can
Yep.
safely TP back to your tower. You don't have to worry about responding to like dives in bot lane, which
Y-
sometimes hurts Rise more than it
Mhm.
helps your team.
Yep.
So I think Unleash Teleport has been such a healthy change and just in my opinion. I
Completely
think,
agree.
yeah,
Yep.
it's there the amount of stuff that you can play around now with the capabilities of teleport being changed to a bit more defensive early, and then still more like exciting cross map action once it gets unleashed. Like I feel like that dynamic made the game a bit more exciting for me.
Yeah.
But I at least my own opinion on the whole patch in itself, because usually the first patch of every season is pretty sizable. I feel
Right.
like it was underwhelming.
It's a
That's the
small patch, right?
Yeah, it's the only change that we really got like as a major change.
Right.
So
And also, what do you think about Unleash Teleport? Honestly, could change the playstyles of different regions. Honestly, because some regions like LPL who plays really aggressively might not enjoy this one because they're the ones who pioneered the playstyle that teleports uh everyone teleports to the bot lane, everyone goes for ganks, and the aggressive playstyle has always been the LPL playstyle. But because of this, they might play a little more like LCK. Dahil they can at least lane better than the junglers are really the ones who could disrupt their lanes na lang, which is I don't know if it's good for me. I still have mixed feelings about it, but yeah, I think this is for the better naman. So let's see what's gonna happen with it.
yeah, yeah,
Pero patch 12.1, we don't really have a lot, no.
yeah.
Other
I
than the
mean,
Liliana
a lot of
one.
the people that are complaining about this patch is honestly the new rank borders.
Oh yeah, 100%
Oh
I would agree.
right.
And
Oh
you gotta
right.
remember the new UI too. But okay, here's my thing, right? They
Uh-huh.
changed
Hmm.
the UI in preparation of the new designs. They
Yeah,
changed it and carried over the old designs. That's why it looks weird right now.
yeah. It
Give it
looks
a
weird
bit.
right now.
Give it a bit. Right?
Yep.
When they
Uh-huh.
when they put in all the features and stuff, they're gonna come in with a new design. It'll look better.
Right.
I'm
Yep,
100% sure.
me
Yeah, I
too.
hope so.
It's just uncertain. I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure if they announced it, but they leaked it on like one of their dev blogs, but they didn't really specify like which patch it's gonna ship in. I'm not entirely sure,
Might
but
take a long time.
yeah,
Hopefully
I don't
soon, though.
know.
Hopefully soon.
Hopefully soon, because it really looks ugly. I agree with a lot of the players, especially for some reason, like you can't really distinguish like silver to diamond at this point, um,
Right.
or like gold to bronze. Kind of looks the same. So
I don't know, man. Let's see what's gonna happen here because right now it looks like I don't know. I don't know what to say, but yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, but before we go to 12.2, there's a lot of big changes here on 12.2. A lot of champions have been changed. Zeri came in. But what do you before 12.2 came in, have you encountered the Janna top lane with
Smite.
Smite, right?
Oh,
have you encountered Yumi
Yes.
Top?
oh yeah,
Haven't
that
yet.
one too. That one too.
Haven't the Yumi top, but the Janna with the Smite was
Jana. Yeah.
whew. That was annoying to play against, especially if you're a jungler main. And that was kind of a kind of a weird thing. Like during that time, John was like super strong because of her move speed, right? She was doing everything.
Yeah.
Like she's annoying the jungler. She takes off the padding, and after that, that was done. The game's done because your jungler's nothing anymore, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about this weird trend that's happening where like uh players are starting to put like support champions in top lane and just completely ignore top. Maybe that's how irrelevant top lane is right now, uh, as a role. But it's interesting. It can be a little bit frustrating to play against because of how bounties work at the moment. I think that's what makes it, well, one of the factors that makes it annoying is because like you build bounties just by existing in top lane. Like when you're farming, like for example, you're like a Jax and you're up against like a Janna top lane with Smite, and she doesn't play lane ever, right? As you're farming in top lane, you're not necessarily killing anyone. You're just there. You're just top gapping Janna top. You're much more building a target for yourself by getting a bigger bounty. Meanwhile, Janna's already helping like the team by
You know what?
taking like objectives and stuff like that. Yeah,
You know what this reminds me of? Do you remember when Philosopher's Stone used to be a thing, and
right.
that yellow support item, and
Uh,
Right.
people would
Mana
just
Right.
go
manipulator. Is
yeah,
that it?
yeah, and people would just go like support top and never CS.
Yep.
And
Just because of
they
how
would just
good it
abuse,
was.
yeah, they would just abuse support item, and then like you can't even play the game. Or it also reminds me of
Heart of
you remember
Gold.
Funnel Yi,
Right.
Yes.
man.
Yes.
Right.
Tarik mid,
Tariki.
support the Yi.
Even Kale
Oh,
Yi.
that was
Oh
horrible,
man.
man.
That
Yeah.
was a weird patch, honestly. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was frustrating.
It's very
Yeah.
reminiscent of those days, honestly. And I obviously I don't think Riot's gonna let this slide for a while. I
Right.
think they're definitely gonna do something against it. I mean, it all started with that Yumi top, in my opinion. That that was the whole introduction to this whole support top lane thing.
Right.
And I feel like once they've addressed these changes, it won't be as oppressive for solo queue. I think
I
it
wish
only
so.
works in solo queue. To be fair, I don't think you could run this in competitive and smash people
Yeah, you can't.
unless you're just better.
Unless the rest of your team is like amazing and just
Yeah,
never
yeah.
makes a
Unless
mistake.
you're just yeah.
Right.
But you were gonna win anyway without the strat.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. But before we go into 12.2, I think Entrap needs to go now, Midnight. So,
Yeah,
yeah, Entrap.
sadly.
Yeah, Entrap, thank you so much for being here, honestly, because it was a blast. Yeah, I thought it was just 30 minutes nga nung nag-uusap pa
Oh.
tayo because I
Oh
enjoyed it
yeah.
so much. So, yeah, Entrap, thank you so much for being here.
It's my
Yeah.
pleasure. It's my pleasure, guys.
Anything that you need to plug? Because, yeah, you can
Yeah. Any
plug
Yeah,
final
you
yourself.
guys.
words?
So yeah, you guys can follow me on Twitter.
Yeah.
That's at underscore entrapped. Or you can follow me on Twitch. I think I'm more active on Twitter.
Yeah.
But I plug my stream on my Twitter. So if you follow me there, you'll find me. But if you want to look for me on Twitch, it's at entrapped. Same spelling as my profile on Discord.
Yeah.
If you guys, if you guys need help, just drop a question and gameplay advice. Tag me. I'm always willing to help you guys out. Other
Right.
than that, special thanks to Dash and Midnight. Really appreciate you guys having me for this podcast.
Yeah, man. We appreciate you.
You guys are doing great things. I think this podcast is an amazing idea. Really, really enjoy it, and I'm happy that the League PH community is growing. So yeah, that's everything for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you
It's
so
our pleasure
much. Yeah.
for you being here. So yeah, thank you very much, Entrapped.
Thank you again, guys.
Yeah. So midnight. Let's go with patch 12.2. Yeah, and Trap
Right.
was great. And Trap was great. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
honestly. So yeah, let's go with 12.2. So this is a big patch, right?
Mm-hmm,
This
mm-hmm.
is kind of a big patch
I
because
mean,
we
it's
have
better than 12.1. That's for sure.
exactly exactly because 12.1 was very underwhelming. But let's talk about because we're talking about the support top lanes first. It's a good thing that they changed Jana. I don't know if it stemmed from that one or they thought about this before everything else. Like they thought
Uh,
about this. Yeah, what do you think?
in the lens of a game designer, I
Yeah.
think this was probably something that was in the works before they saw the
Mm,
trend of Janatop.
yeah.
Like these seem to be long term changes that they've been planning for quite a while now to do with Jana. Because I mean, if you've been paying attention to the support meta, Jana hasn't been really
She's not
out there.
anywhere.
Just I mean, for some high elo players, she's still good. Like she's always good in that regard. But she's missing in a lot of like lower MMR games because she's just getting outclassed by stuff like Sona, stuff like Yumi, stuff like Soraka, who pretty much do the same thing, but arguably better and I guess easier to achieve. Now they're trying to make these changes where Janna is now more of an enchanter than ever, right? I think they've removed or rather they weakened the ability for Janna to be sort of this poke bot lane,
Yep.
right? They significantly uh increased the cooldown on, for example, like the Zephyr.
Yep.
They changed that, and yeah, they made all these changes into aligning that uh part of Janna where like you're gonna be shielding a whole lot and you're protecting your carry from dying. So
Yeah.
now, yeah,
Yeah. They made her more like a. I mean, the Zephyr doesn't really do as much, but at least the interaction of Zephyr with the shields and also the Monsoon would be better. And that's I
yeah,
think is a very healthy change if you want Jana to be more of an enchanter and played more basically. Just because I think this the effect of Monsoon, the healing tick rate from point 0.5 to point 0.25, that's
yeah.
big. That's a
That's
lot of heals, right?
yeah.
So
It's gonna be a lot harder to play against someone soon, especially if you don't have the burst for it. Obviously, if you have the burst, it's not gonna change anything a whole lot.
mhm,
Um, but yeah, the trajectory that they went for this one, giving Howling Gale and Eye of the Storm some love, made it seem like maybe Janna's gonna return as like a really fun champion to play with now in solo queue. I think she's more viable than ever
mhm.
as an enchanter right now. So yeah, would do I think this would stop the whole Janna top thing? Probably not. Uh,
Mm,
it's if anything, it's gonna be a bit more annoying, but we'll have to see what Riot has in store for like next patch to deal with that.
yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe just because of the Zephyr having bigger cooldowns, she would be less annoying compared to how she was. But I
maybe.
think it would still be okay. That playstyle would still be okay. Yeah, let's move on to Rengar. But
Oh,
I think Rengar's changes with the camouflage wouldn't matter right now just because Chemtech Drake is disabled, right?
yes. At the moment, it doesn't matter, but for
Right.
the long term, it's a really great change because even though it's like
Super.
literally one line of change in the patch notes,
Mhm.
uh, it meant the whole world for Rengar mates. I think I briefly mentioned this in the last podcast. I'm not quite
Mhm.
sure that a lot of people were frustrated by this because you basically get depressed when it's Chemtech turning and you're playing
Right.
Rengar.
Can't do anything.
You just can't do anything. You lose like a dozen bushes to jump from. It's sad.
Right.
So overall, there's a pretty big change that I think a lot of people are going to be, you know, excited about once the Chemtech actually returns to the Rift. Other than that, not much, changes. It's just Rengar.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, yeah, that I think is a really good change. But the others on this patch, the Mira, good change with the damages. But I think one of also the bigger changes, other than Tamkench, let's go to Tamkench later, is
Okay.
Senna. Senna's
Yeah.
Q now has an innate slow,
Yeah.
which I think is really good.
Yeah. That's. I mean, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
That I think Senna is now viable everywhere. I think
Right.
whether you play her as a bot lane Senna or like support, farming, fasting, I don't care. You can play any version of like bot lane Senna. It's back. I feel
Yeah.
like now, like, cause at first, without the whole glacial augment thing, it was pretty
Mm,
hard. It's very
super.
unreliable to provide utility and to provide like that constant damage when you're playing Senna. Now the utility is back.
Right.
You have 20% base low and it scales off of both AP and AD. You're gonna get a whole lot of value there.
Yeah.
As the game goes on,
And it's a
it's
two
always
second slow,
yeah, it's a
which is
two
big.
second slow. Yeah, yeah,
Oh man, this is really. I mean, I think Senna is gonna be hard to fight against, and I think this is okay. This is a really good change, just because Senna's playstyle plays on that kiting mechanic that she does. She plays like a pseudo ADC if you're playing her as a support, but
right,
as an ADC, she works really well also, just because of this slow. She can kite better. Yes, she gets the movement speed, but I think this is for the better, just because that glacial augment really helped her kit and made her super viable during the times that she was viable. So yeah,
right.
this is very, very healthy. So let's talk about the last one, which is, I think this change for Tom Kench made him super, I rather more viable as a support right now. Just because,
Uh,
I mean,
yeah,
Tom Kench in the top lane is strong, yes, yes. And this one at least makes him viable as a support. Because I think during the last time that I saw Tom Kench, I think he's only played on the top lane and nobody plays him in the bot lane back in the day. Like, I mean, back in 11.24.
yeah. I mean, obviously, at the time when like prior to this patch, it was mainly just Tomken's top lane, and that wasn't the entire design of
Right,
Tom Kench.
right.
I like he's meant to be this champion who peels for your team, has the slow, has like the knockups for peeling, has like the ultimate as well, which is basically one of the most impactful ultimates in the game right now. Um, at least for in terms of like protection in team fights.
Mhm.
Um, I've gotten a lot of time sort of researching and watching players play the new Tom Kench. It's I feel like Tom Kench is in a weird spot right now. Uh, while yes, it is more viable to put him as support,
Yep.
it's so hard to pick him over other champions that quite literally do the same thing. For example, like uh, Tarek and Braum seem to
Mhm.
have been a much more effective like frontline tank who peels for your team,
Yeah.
as opposed to what Tom Kench is doing. I feel like Tom Kench doesn't have enough that niche. I mean, you have your ultimate, but like everyone has an ultimate.
Right.
Tarek's ultimate protects the entire team instead of one,
Yep.
as a direct comparison. So it's
Yeah.
really hard. But also the problem here is that because of the changes with like thick skin, it's also difficult to run him in top lane because you don't have enough survivability that you usually had. Now, like nowadays, a Nasus is more tankier than a Tom Kench, whereas before you won't say the same thing.
Right.
So I don't know. It's I feel like the way they changed this is in the right direction.
Mhm.
I think Riot is not wrong with this change at all, but I feel like Tom Kench would need a bit more help in bot lane if they really want to push him in that tier. But that's just my own thoughts. Maybe if more professional players pick up Tom Kench, maybe that would change the whole landscape of things.
Mhm.
But yeah,
What I think about what's hard with Tom Kench is we have like offensive and defensive supports, right? And for Tom Kench, I think that is a bit blurred. Like, yes, Thresh does the same thing. He has a bit of a safety, he has a bit of a offensive style, but he is Thresh is more well rounded compared to how a Tom Kench is.
correct.
And that's the reason why picking Tom Kench up in the support role is super hard. I mean, back in the day, yes, I was really using the Tom Kench just because of how he protects the teammates. But right now, with his Devour being an ultimate, it's really, really hard, right? It's super hard to use him. And it's not easy to stack up. I mean, in the top lane, it's easier to stack up your passive compared to how he was. But back in the day, it was easier. And that's
Yeah,
why I don't know. I don't know. That's why Tom Ketch is such a pretty weird spot. Whew.
I
I wish he
mean,
gets changed, or I don't know. Yeah. What
yeah,
is it?
but then potentially the things that they combined here in this patch notes is that with the Senna change in conjunction with the Tom Kench change, they might be reviving
Oh,
Senna Tom bot lane,
yeah, yeah.
because
Right, right.
then at that point you revert the nerf on thick skin.
Hmm.
At the same time, you keep the whole Senna thing going, but you just have to play fasting Senna. I think that might be the only viable lane where Tom Kench is like can be seen in bot
Decent.
lane. Yeah,
Yeah.
but other than that, I feel like Tom Kench needs a bit more love from what they did on this patch.
Right. I wish so. I wish so. He gets that. But I don't know about this match. I have mixed feelings about this next thing that I want to point out. Talon's W Rake getting nerfed to 105% for damage against monsters. I don't know if that's big. It would affect Talon being in the jungle because Talon in the jungle back in 11.24 and before that he was really strong.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, he's really super good because his damage is big, and I think because of this, it changes the way that Talon. I think Talon is not as good as he was back in the jungle.
That's what I initially thought as well, because the
Mhm.
clears are going to impact a lot. Um, yeah, I think I pretty much agree on the same note. Honestly, like
Yeah.
Talon, it's probably not going to be seen anymore in the jungle, which is
Yep.
probably a healthy thing for the game. A lot of people are so uh afraid of facing against a Talon jungle.
Right.
S- I mean, even back in Worlds, if you guys were there watching I think that was a T1 DFM game.
Mhm.
That I vaguely remember where like they ran this Talon Yumi and it just kind of roamed across the map and just killed everyone. Which obviously is fun to play if you're on the team of Talon side,
Right.
but it's definitely unplayable if you're the opponent, because Talon's just so oppressive. Like he can just immediately snowball early game leads to just closing out the game in just 10 minutes when played right.
Yep. He's
So
really too strong, honestly, during the
mhm.
times that he was in meta, because Riot made it viable for assassins to be in the jungle, right? And that is the bane of every squishy target there is, right there,
Yeah.
right? That's why it was super hard to play against it. But right now, I think that's good that he's back in the mid lane where he should be. Honestly,
Yep.
against the other assassins that are in the meta, like Kiana and even Zed, it's always getting played by everyone. But I think that's it for me
I
also for Talon.
Yeah, I mean, I just like to add real quick that I think that's such a smart change from Riot, which is what you mentioned, where that they knew that the Talon was oppressive, but they didn't nerf Talon as a whole, and they still wanted to have Talon viable in mid
Right.
lane.
Yeah.
Because I really do think that's where he should belong. I think
Yeah.
that's a lane where it makes the most sense to run Talon on
Hmm.
based on his kit. So yeah.
Yep. And also, this changes pretty small changes, but the prices for Rylai's Crystal Scepter being lessened, man, that's good for champions who use that. Because having better, I mean, the 50 health and the 15 ability power that is reduced there, I mean, that's okay. But with this, I think my man Singe could be played again. I
And
mean, because this, I mean, Singe is being played, but this change would be good, would be healthy for those types of champions.
yes, exactly. And it's precisely what you mentioned, right? For champions like Singe, really the main purpose you're getting right
Oh, hello, Midnight. Yeah, I think Midnight got disconnected, everyone. But I think what Midnight is pointing out is because the reason why people use what do you call this? Reason why people use Rylai's is because everyone wants to give it. Hello, Midnight. Are you back? Yeah, I think it's not back yet. But yeah, I think the reason why Riley is getting used is because everyone wants the extra extra health. That's why everyone wants to use the Riley's Crystal Scepter. And because of this changes, making it a bit more usable, a bit more affordable for people, makes it a bit better for the champions who pick it up, especially the bruisers that use it so much, like Singe. Like I think one of the things is just Singe. I on top of my head, I can only think of Singe using that. But other than that, what I would like to point out with Midnight a while ago was supposed to be Turbo Chem Tank. I think everyone knows this. Turbo Chem Tank has been one of the best items right now in the game because together with Frostfire Gauntlet and Thimble Winter, the combo with this was really strong. It was really hard to fight against. The things that you get with Turbo Chem Tank just because of the passive, the ability haste, and also the health that you get with the Turbo Chem Tank is good. And also the change with this was really healthy. I like the change with this that every basic attack makes it so that it does damage. Hello, Midnight, are you back?
Yeah, yeah, I'm back. Sorry.
Okay, so back where you pointer with Rylai's before I go back to Turbo Chem Tank.
Right. So what I was saying is like you never really pick up Rylai's because oh wow I really need that extra 400 HP or man did I wish I have some extra ability power right now. You know, like
Mhm.
yes, it's nice to have because generally you want some extra stats for your champion, but mainly you really want it for the extra slow on your abilities.
Right.
So now it's a bit more accessible for champions like Singe, for example, for champions like Zyra, or like supports who
Yeah.
also want to build stuff like that. Yeah, Casio, Brand, stuff like that.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
or Malzahar. Yeah. Now
Yeah.
now it's a
Making
bit more accessible. Yeah.
yeah, getting it. I mean, it was really good because making it a bit cheaper would just make it easier for them to get. And the extra CC that you get with this is really good for those champions. That's why they always find a way to get this item because they want it. But because of the price that it had a while ago, they skip it just because they can get better options like Cosmic Drive. So far, Cosmic Drive has been one of the good options for AP champions, rather. That's why Silas Cassiopeia has been getting that together with the Rylai's right now. They can go with both of them. You get the attack speed, I mean, you get the movement speed, and you also get the slow, which is double the better for them. But now, let's talk about Turbo Chem Tank, man. Tanks have been really good right now, I can say. Tanks have been in an awkward position since the past seasons. I mean, the only tank that has been constantly okay in the meta was Ornn. But right now,
Right.
Poppy is good. And other champions are good because of the Turbo Chem Tank changes in the Frostfire content, but mostly because of Fimbo Winter, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, Fimble Winter, I still think is a bit of a niche item,
Right.
but whenever it does fill the niche, it becomes really good, and it's become really easy to activate nowadays because of Frostfire synergy.
Right.
So I don't know, it's pretty good.
Yeah. And I really like that because honestly, I really love the CC gameplay that you can do with this. Even Gragas does it with the Fimbo
Yeah,
Winter and
Gragas,
even the Turbo Chem Tank. And
even
Poppy,
Scion.
yeah, even Sion can do it, which is really great. And getting this access for tanks, getting the shielding, because they don't have the innate healing that boosters have, right? And having the shielding from the Fimble Winter is really helpful for them. At least they have some form of sustain for themselves, other than their regenerations, their innate regenerations, right?
Right.
But I think that's good. I think that's good. And also, have you seen their Kali who uses the Turbo Chem tank?
Yes, actually, when I so by the way, for anyone who's listening in the audience, I I recently launched a video exactly doing the patch rundown for the first time, like when I first saw the patch notes, and at first I didn't realize that this chem tank change was like a targeted nerf towards that build.
Yeah,
It's sort
it
of
was. It was.
It's sort of like it sort of flew like on my mind na parang, well, it's a camp tag change. Wala lang. They just really wanted to make a healthy change so that, you know, people outside of like the tank category don't use scam tank. I just didn't think
Mhm.
about it too much, and then after I got the video out, I'm like, wait, that's a collie. They meant a collie there. Whoops.
Right. Right,
Yeah.
exactly. Oh my. That
Yeah. But
Akali change was good.
mhm.
I mean, that change for at least it's targeted for Akali was good because Akali, tanky Akali with what do you call that item again? Demonic
Demonic
embrace, right?
embrace.
Yeah,
Yes.
was really strong because he gets the HP, she gets the damage extra from the Turbo Chem tank, and this one, I think it wouldn't really matter because Akali moves a lot too. So at least it lessens the proc procability, if that's a term, for the turbo cam tank for Akali.
I mean, I think this completely makes Turbo Chem Tank Akali like not viable anymore because you're no longer able to abuse the amount of stacks you're able to gain from just literally jumping around with
Mhm.
your entire mobility. So I think it's good. I think you just be safely, seeing Akali's going back to the regular builds now, thankfully.
Right.
Yeah. Which
I
is
wish I wish it happens.
mainly Proto Belt, I think, or Rocket Belt. Sorry, I
Yeah,
butchered
or
the
Rift
name.
Maker,
Or
or
Rift Maker if you really
yeah,
wanted to.
yeah. That's good. That's good. So now let's talk about our last topic, Zeri, in the
Oh
game right
my.
now. Yeah,
Yeah.
Zeri. Or should we talk about Chemtech Drake, the last change with Chemtech Drake before we head on to Zeri? Because the
I
Chemtech Drake
mean,
changes, I don't know if it's really, I don't know if it's really, what do you call that, significant.
like I mentioned in the previous podcast, I'm really on the different stance with most people that are saying that the whole Chemtech Rift or the Chemtech Soul is annoying. I think it's all the same. I think the
Hmm.
soul is strong, but other souls are strong as well. So I don't feel like I don't feel like Chemtech Soul is a problem per se.
Yeah,
And for the whole Chemtech Rift argument, where like there's it's so oppressive when you're behind and all that. I feel like
exactly.
it's it doesn't really change a whole lot if you just think about like where they could possibly be, because the whole Chemtech uh area, like the mist or like the fog that it creates, is only on very specific um areas of the map, and
Mhm.
you would have a good idea where they are based on like objectives, based on like your vision. I feel like it's just a bit overrated at that point, but I do respect that Riot is listening to the cries of the community, where like, they did these changes so it's less annoying
Right.
for people to deal with when they're behind and they're up against the Chemtech Rift. And obviously disabling it altogether is such a, big move in itself. Um so I think it's a healthy change, right?
Yeah.
If all that being said, but again, what I mean, I don't know what's your stance about it, but I'm pretty sad when they disabled Camtech Drake. I feel like with so few changes going into the
Uh-huh.
season, I feel like
Yeah.
it's so boring without the Camtech Drake now.
What can I
I
say? I'm part of the group who hates Chemtech Drake. I mean, not the Chemtech Drake itself, but I don't really like the Chemtech Rift because so far during January, I've been playing a lot with friends. So Chemtech Rift is something super oppressive whenever it comes out for me. Like, just because of the fact that you can't ward on the Chemtech, on the camouflage, it's super hard to fight against, especially when you're behind. But other than that, what I don't like about the Chemtech Drake also is because it its passive is very conditional, which
oh yeah.
is which is I don't know. It's not what I call that rewarding to get it if
Mhm.
you're playing bruisers on your team composition, right? Because you
Yeah.
all have high HP, but you also need to stop them from getting it because they will use it against you, right? So that's why you need
Yeah.
to stop them from getting it. But other than that, I think like what you said, it keeps the game fresh. It keeps the game fresh. That's
Yeah,
why
yeah.
I love that it was introduced into the game. I'm just not a fan of its I'm just not a fan of its Chemtech Rift. But the passive,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
okay because it's conditional, but the Rift, I'm really not a fan of it.
That's understandable. Yeah.
Yeah, but if I'm gonna be casting a game with Chemtech Rift, I love it. Because
Oh
I'm not
yeah.
the one who's gonna be suffering from the Chemtech Rift. So
Yep.
yeah. But I mean, other than that, yeah, I think we had too much to talk about Chemtech J kasi pinag-usapan na rin natin to last week.
Yep.
But let's go to lethal tempo nerfs. Nah. This is okay. This
Yeah, I
nerf is
think
okay.
yeah, I think
yeah,
we're good
yeah,
with this
yeah.
one.
We're good with this. But let's go with Zeri.
Right.
Do you think that Zeri would change the way that ADCs are played right now? Because the way that Zeri works is kind of weird. Because she's
Mm-hmm.
super fast. She plays like Ezreal, but she does not play. She's not Ezreal in a way. And I don't know. What do you think about it, Midnight?
I think she's in a weird spot. Like, uh, the thing is, like, her niche is that she's one of the most mobile, if not the most mobile characters in the game right now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if we can call this like a mobility creep issue within game design, but generally, it's hard for me to put an impression right now. Uh, People are trying out different builds and different iterations of Zeri right now in all high elo levels. I'm watching her currently. She's been playing. She's seen playing in all. Well, no,
All lanes, right?
no. Four roles. I think everything but support, basically.
Yeah.
I'd
But
be surprised if it's gonna be support.
right. But what I think is not healthy for me with Zeri being in the game is that her itemization is weird. She itemizes Triforce, she goes to this tanky route where she deals damage, and she also shreds armor like crazy. And she's super fast too. So that's why you have a combination of movement and what do you call that? Tankiness because of Titanic Hydra and also Black Cleaver being in her kit or rather in her items. So that's why I think it's super hard to play against her if you don't imagine you're playing set, right? And you need to
Yeah.
chase the Zeri. That's
Oh, oh yeah.
that
I mean,
that's
for
impossible.
for champions like Garen or like I don't know like Trundle, yeah, you're gonna have a bad time for sure, 100%.
Yeah.
But I feel like I don't know. The thing is the counter argument to that whole Triforce build argument is that uh that build actually deals way like little damage for an ADC. So if you're not already winning the game, you're gonna have to deal with a much stronger marksman on the opposite side of the like opposite side of
Yeah.
the map basically,
Good point.
and it's it's gonna take a toll on you because you don't deal enough damage to carry your own team. Now, obviously, uh, it there's other builds. For example, like you could go with the crit route. That one
Mm-hmm.
deals way more damage actually.
Yeah.
The like going into like a mythic, into like essence, into like infinity edge. That one does way more damage, but significantly less mobile
Yep.
than the Runan's Triforce build. But it's
And
confusing. Like, which one do you really want? Because
yeah.
you'd
Everyone's
want.
still experimenting, right? Like
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
what build works best. But
Hmm.
what's weird about that is she can also go AP, which is something that I've seen, or rather, I've seen so much in Synapse, where a lot of streamers are have been using that AP build, where it deals a burst of damage, especially because I think she also used the Lich Bane, which is the reason why she also uses Triforce on on that other build, the Bruiser build for her.
Uh huh.
But I don't know. What's good about it? It's fun because you're not kept on a route where you should. Like everybody's using Immortal Shield Bow right now, so you should use as an ADC. You should use Immortal Shield Bow. What's fun about her is that she's not kept on that route. She can use anything she wants, which is fun for the players though. Which is fun for the players. But I think what's
Yeah,
great about her also is that she changes she changes things in the game in a way that you need to think about, especially in ranked games, you need to think about the champions that you're going to use if you're going to be fighting against her. Because whenever you're fighting against a Zeri, you need dashes, you need point and clicks. Because for sure, after she uses overcharge, you won't be able to chase her.
yeah. I mean, I agree on that note. You definitely have to think about your crowd control as a team when it comes to dealing with Zeri,
Yeah.
and being able to manage that will allow you to counter Zeri in that sense. Well, the thing is, moving and attacking is directly proportional with Zeri. So if you're gonna stop her from moving, you're also probably gonna stop her from attacking. It's
Yeah.
like, it's
Twisted
all the
Fate,
same thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Probably the best answer for her right now. And also
Uh,
Assassins, I think.
yeah, Twist and Fate. I've seen Lissandra as an answer to it.
Right. Right.
I've seen Maokai even. Like I've seen all the weird answers to Zeri at this point.
These
Uh,
people are using different champions now because of it, right?
yeah, they're trying to be a bit creative on it. I kind of like it, to be
Yeah.
honest. But
Yep.
again, I feel like when it comes to how Zeri would play out, I don't know yet. I feel
Mhm.
like it's way too early to say. But
But
as an
for now, what do
initial,
you
but for now, I don't know. I think she's not all too impressive.
think?
I
Mhm.
think she's so hard to fit in the current meta right now, where I don't know, mobility isn't as important right now on carries. I think
Right.
uh with everything that's happening, I think damage is the whole, like, damage creep is more important.
That's why
Uh,
Jin is in the meta because the
exactly. Yeah.
damage is really, really up there.
Especially in pro play. I guess maybe you see it less so on solo queue than it is in pro.
Mhm.
Uh, maybe I'm wrong, but definitely in pro play, like, people are looking up to play Jin because the utility as well from creating picks from Deadly Flourish and
Yep.
Curtain
And the
Call
curtain
is
call.
amazing and competitive. Yeah.
Yep. And also, what I like, I mean, what I like about this change also with Zeri is that because everyone is playing differently, like what we said a while ago, that's basically the reason why I like this champion being introduced in the game. And also what I like about it is that she's voiced by a Filipino voice actor.
Right.
Yeah,
What's
Vanille
her name?
Velasquez.
Vanilla Velasquez.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
also voiced Neon in Valorant. So shout outs to her. Yeah, it's really great to have a Filipino voice acted champion in a game that we love. And even in
Yes.
Valorant,
Hashtag
you
Pinoy
have Neon
Pride.
there. Yeah, Pinoy Pride. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, so it's really great to have a champion like this. And yeah, and I hope this champion stays in the meta, if ever, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I feel like if they could mix in a few more viable ADCs, it would make
Hmm.
the whole marksman meta more interesting.
Right.
Uh,
'Cause
so,
so
yeah.
far, right, marksmen are having a hard time with assassins being in the meta. Kiana just one-shotting, Talon and Zed just one-shotting everyone. And I think they need something. I think ADCs need something more for them to be at least fun to play. Because so far, start of the season, I'm not having fun whenever I get to play ADC because mid and top are just gonna explode you every time, even if you're one item ahead.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I just want to see something different and competitive. Like, I really wish that Zeri would be viable competitively.
Yeah,
Uh,
I wish
like,
so.
because right now, I don't know if you're watching a whole lot of competitive, but it's basically League of Jinx in bot lane. I swear,
And
every
yeah,
single game there's like a Jinx either picked or banned.
right. Oh man, it's because man, Jinx with her range and
Or Caitlyn.
how the little tempo works right now is just so good for them because of how much their range is
Yeah,
and
it's so
how
abusive.
extra it gives with the little tempo.
Yep.
It's just hard to fight against, right? Yeah, so
Yeah,
dominating.
that's also the thing. Like, range is good on Zeri because she has like effectively 800 range. But
Right.
the difference between 800 range and of Zeri and Caitlyn's and Jinx's like what 600 to 700 ish range is that
Yeah.
you can't block those with minions.
Right.
With
Right.
Zeri, if you're standing behind minions, you're basically as useless as
Graves.
as Graves. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's why it's hard. I
yeah,
mean,
at least Graves, you could cue the wave to sort of clear the path
clear
for
it out,
you.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. With Zeri, I mean, you'd have to dash your way into it, which is sometimes not the best move if you're an ADC.
Yeah. If you dashed in, somebody's gonna dash into you also, which
Yeah.
is which
So
is why it's hard.
it's a bit of a flip. Um, yeah, and Caitlyn and Jinx are very safe in general in pro play. Like you really want those like safe AD carries that deal a lot of damage,
Hmm.
and that's why we've been seeing them repeatedly. So maybe if Zeri gets a little bit more, for me, is that if Zeri gets a bit more damage inside of her numbers, I think that would make her a bit better. But
Yeah.
other than that, I don't know. I don't know where she's gonna go.
Oh yeah. And this is also the reason why it's kind of hard. It's kind of awkward with Zeri is because everybody's still experimenting. You don't really know what to use on her, what items to be played with her, and when people probably understands how she works, that is when I think Zeri would be better. Because right now, yeah, she moves around, she doesn't deal a lot of damage. She's basically a fly that you need to swat whenever she's getting played because she's just moving so fast and
Yep.
she deals minuscule damage. But I hope someone's out there, someone experiments and find a way to get those items right with her. But what I'm glad with is that on our first Elder Dragon series we won't be seeing her, right?
Yes, yes.
Because
Zeri would be
she can
banned.
yeah, she can't be used yet because it's we need 2 weeks before she can get used. So we could
Correct.
probably see her next month on the next Elder Dragon series. But right now, yeah, Zeri blacklisted from Elder Dragon series for now.
Yep.
But yeah, I think yeah, we nerded out so much about this patch, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
it took
yeah.
a
I
lot
mean,
of time. Yeah.
it was 2 patches. It's not that big of a deal that we went on for quite a bit. I think that was quite important to discuss.
Yeah. And I hope we get to see a lot more patches for the next 2 weeks because we're gonna be discussing it next time. So
Right.
yeah, I think that's it for our podcast today, everyone. Thank you very much for yeah, that was patch 12.1, patch 12.2. We had a lot of discussions. We love that Entrap was here with us a while ago. I think we're
Absolutely.
I think I'm gonna start streaming. Joke lang, pero,
You should.
pero yeah. Let's
I'd
see. Let's
watch
see.
it.
Let's
Yeah.
let's see if we can start streaming soon. But I was really inspired by what Entrap said a while ago. Like you need to build your branding. You need to build a lot of things for you to be on the streaming side. I had a lot of thoughts with that. Maybe dadagdag ko siya sa mga 2 a.m. thoughts ko later. So let's see
And
about that. But yeah,
yeah,
that's
I
it.
mean one statement that struck me, even though it's such an obvious thing and it's just a nice reminder to everyone that when you want to do something, you just do it. It's not
Right.
because some people really overthink that's the first step, like
Right.
just getting to start to begin with. So yeah, I don't. I mean, maybe that specific. I didn't get a specific inspiration to start streaming because I already do.
Mhm.
But that gave me a few ideas on what I wanted to start doing as well with my life, I guess.
Right.
Yeah,
Kasi I think yung mga sinabi ni Angel kanina, it doesn't, like, especially the last part that you need to find balance. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't really just work on streaming. It works even on your life. Like, you need to do balance so for you to do what you like and also what you need to do in life. At least balance your schedule, do everything on time, etc.
yeah.
And
Honestly, I should hire Entrapped as my life coach. Yeah,
yeah, maybe you get
yeah,
some a discount for him being your life coach though. So,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Maybe.
Yeah. Oh man, that was a really fun day. Yeah, we took a lot more time than last time. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think we had so much fun for this podcast. But before that, everyone, I think we have some announcements. There's Zeri champion codes and possible Zeri skin codes on the Discord and other channels like FB and also on the LOL PH Summoners Hub page. So if you want to get a Zeri champion code and skin, just check out our socials, the Discord, check out the channels so that you might be able to get the Zeri Champions and Skins codes. And for sure, the Elder Dragon series will have a lot of those. So let's see
Oh
what
yeah.
yeah, for sure. Kaya you guys tune in for the Elder Dragon series for the 30th on Sunday. We're gonna be
Can I
starting
be
at
the
3.
first one this month
Yeah,
or this
yes.
year? Sorry,
It's the first one this year. Like, oh man, I get this the nostalgic feeling when we started the Elder Dragon series like last year, and now
last
we
year.
have it. We have it another one. We're starting another year. So I hope we see a lot of different teams pa for the Elder Dragon series. Maybe may
Yep.
ano din, may mga budding or rather may na I forgot the word. The budding fakers or showmakers out there in the Philippines, and I hope to see you guys. So, yeah, Midnight. Any last messages for our viewers?
Um, I guess not much, but definitely I because Entrapped has already plugged his. You can also follow me on Twitch. I also stream just much like Entrapped, but a little bit less common. I don't really have a specific stream schedule. The link on my stream is on my Discord profile, but it's Midnight SPS. And yeah, I also have a YouTube channel. You could also find that on my either my Twitch or my Discord profile. Because that's where I I sometimes upload. I do have some like 12.2 stuff that you might be interested in looking at.
That's great.
Uh,
Yeah.
these are not necessarily the highest quality. I'm just trying out new stuff for content. But yeah, if you're ever coming to my stream, let me give a hi. Let me know.
Yeah. Yeah, and also siguro magpa-plug na rin ako ng if you guys want to know what I do, like yeah, I have my Facebook page right there on my Discord fb.com/ dash at dashcasts on almost all of my socials. Sa Twitter lang yung iba na may underscore sa dulo. So if you want to follow me, yeah, go say hi and I'll say hello back to you guys. So guys, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Midnight, for also being here for again another episode of Riftwalk. For our topic for today was being a Twitch content creator, and I was inspired so much. And I hope you guys are too. And I hope you guys start streaming. We'll probably watch it. Just plug it out on the League chat right there on the League of Legends PH Discord. Thank you guys so much for watching. I was Dash and I was here with Midnight. See you guys next 2 weeks for the next episode of Riftwalk on the episode 3. See you guys. Bye bye.
See ya.